Chapter 1. Students, it's going to be summer vacation soon. When I think about how I won't be able to see my dear students for the next 2 months, I'm very reluctant to part. The emotions of parting lingered in my heart, causing me to be unable to sleep for several days. On the podium, a female teacher in her 30s wearing a black suit, black-rimmed glasses, and a little makeup on her face said with a sad face. However, no matter how hard she tried to perform, the students below all lowered their heads slightly, as if they were in a meditative state. Wang Lan, guess what big move Miju Shirtai is holding back today? She still needs to hold back her big move to deal with us. With Miju Shirtai's boss level, one look from her is enough to empty your HP bar. It's reasonable to say that our class did well this time, so Miju Shirtai should be merciful. You're the only one who did well, right? In the last row, Wang Lan and his best friend Zhang Hao, who sat at the same table for 2 years, had already practiced the Morse code communication method. They could only make soft sounds or even communicate secretly under the premise of not making a sound. Sometimes they would talk dirty. After thinking about it, I decided to give each student a parting gift. Although the gift is light, it's my kind intentions. During the summer vacation, when you see my gift every day, you will think of me as your teacher. After class, the boys will go to my office to take it. I have a bad feeling about this. Me too. This final exam is a complete simulation of Sioux City's college entrance exam. Our class, the results are not bad. 3 of the top 10 students in the city are in our class. The average score of the class is first, and the passing rate of the first tier is 77%. Yay! The heavy atmosphere suddenly relaxed. They thought Miju Shirtai was going to do something again. It's natural to be happy, but there's no need for our class to be proud of this result. We are Class 1, Sioux City's first high school's Class 1. It's natural to have this result, but are we satisfied with this result? This is a simulation of the college entrance exam, not the real one. And in the real one, who are our competitors? Are they the shrimp soldiers and crab generals in Sioux City? No. It's the entire province. Tong City's 7 high schools have been at the top of the province's college entrance exam for 13 years. No one can shake their position. Students, do you have the confidence to challenge Tong City's overlord position in a year? Wow! The whole class exclaimed. Is Abbess Miju crazy? Wang Lan asked in a low voice. Maybe you gave her the courage. Zhang Hao stared at Wang Lan with murderous eyes. What do you mean, wow? 100 years was too long. He had to seize every moment. This is not the Takashi Hoshi campus next door. Whether your future path will be broad or bumpy will depend on the college entrance examination that is less than a year away. Only if you get into a good university will you have a bright future. Think about your parents. Compare them to those who ride electric donkeys to and from work in the snow. Look at those who drive to and from work while drinking coffee. All of you have the same talent, and none of you are Takashi Hoshi, but your future lives are still worlds apart. Why? Because of hard work. Because those who lived a comfortable life used to work harder than those who went to work in the cold wind and rain. The college entrance exam is the battlefield that will change your life and even decide your fate. If they won, they would be rich and prosperous. If they lost, they could only place their hopes on the next generation. The premise is that there must be a next generation. This time, the class teacher who had been single for 30 years did not flip out. She only gave them chicken soup for the soul in one lesson. There was enough chicken soup, enough to fill their stomachs. When the bell rang, Wang Lan took out a carton of milk from his drawer. At the age of growing, Wang Lan was obsessed with his height in his previous life. In this life, he could not be any shorter. Are you still able to eat? Haven't you had enough of Abbess Miju's chicken soup? Howzy, it's chicken soup for you, but it's poison for me. I can do Abbess Miju's request with my eyes closed. I didn't even drink a single sip of her chicken soup. That, Brother Lon, I'll leave for a moment. A strong murderous aura turned into a dark cloud and suddenly shrouded Wang Lan's head. Wang Lan raised her head. A few of her close friends, as well as a few of her classmates who excelled in their studies, all gathered around Wang Lan. Wang Lan, who was huddled in the corner, shrank back into the corner again. Brothers and sisters, what's the matter? What's the matter? Esteemed academic god, do you know how many points you scored in the citywide mock exam? 400. 460. What's wrong? Wang Lan was very proud of his high score. However, he was a human. He lived in a pretentious life. Why not pretend that there was still some joy in life? Therefore, the more others found it unbelievable, the more you had to act nonchalant. Just ask these people in front of him. Which one of them didn't shout F***ck after the exam? However, when the final score came out, each of them scored around 390 to 400. These people were all bad people. What's wrong? You have the guts to ask this question? The full score is 500 and you scored 460? What do you think? Last year, the cutoff score for Yen University and Beijing University was 407. Why do you have to put in so much effort for a mock exam? Aren't you afraid of hurting yourself? Langzi, look at you. How arrogant is Abbess Miju? She's already planning to challenge Tong City's top 7 high schools. After the class committee's research, in the 3rd year of high school, your total score can't be higher than our 2nd place by more than 10 points. Otherwise, I'll represent Beauty Li and destroy you. F***ck. Wang Lan looked at the people in front of him, who looked more anxious than Li Kuei, and gave them the middle finger. I don't think a verbal warning will be effective. How about, that makes sense. The dozen of them were all top students in Class 1. Any one of them could compete for the 2nd place crown. However, even if they beat everyone, they could only settle for 2nd place. This was because there was a demon king above them that they could never surpass. A god that was worshipped by hundreds of thousands of primary school students in Sioux City. Everyone, don't fight. If you have something to say, let's talk. Let me explain. Wang Lan looked at the situation and was a little scared. Explain? What's there to explain? We can tolerate being in 1st place for many years, but we can't tolerate being pressed to the ground and rubbing against us. You can choose between drinking milk tea or being trampled on. You can have both. Wang Lan's face revealed a lewd smile. Treat you to milk tea and be trampled on by Beauty Li and the others, eh? That's possible. Wang Xuebin rubbed his chin and thought. Pay. Wang Lan, you've actually learned bad things. A few girls suddenly blushed and spat. Okay, I won't joke around anymore. I'm also serious. For so many years, it's not right to always press you to the ground and rub against you. Treating the whole class to milk tea as an apology is something I should do. I'll order takeout and treat you to lunch. But to say that I won't bully you in future exams, it's a bit difficult for me. You're all the top students in my Desu city, the top students in high school. Every one of you can easily explode, but after all, you're just mortals. Even if I want to go easy on you, my strength won't allow it. Just like this time, it's not difficult to get more than 480 points. I deliberately did a wrong question to save some face for you. But I didn't expect you to be so weak. I've let go of the Pacific Ocean, but I still overestimated you. At first, the group of top students could deeply agree. Everyone's level of strength was actually about the same. Although the difference between 2nd and 15th place seemed to be so big, the total score difference was not more than 10 points. But after hearing the last part, the group of top students exploded. Listen, is this something a human would say? What do you mean by I've let go of the Pacific Ocean, but I still overestimated you? The atmosphere became extremely silent. In the eyes of the top students in front of him, murderous intent gradually rose. What are you waiting for? Teach him a lesson. The atmosphere in the classroom instantly became lively. A group of top students were playing freely. How could the other students miss this opportunity? Boys and girls swarmed forward. It was a rare opportunity to teach the prodigy a lesson. How could they miss it? Buzz, congratulations to the host for completing the Great Perseverance Trial. You've consecutively ranked first for 1,000 exams. You've lasted 6 years and 9 months. The Destiny system has been successfully activated. The system is initializing. This notification suddenly rang in Wang Lan's mind. At that moment, Wang Lan's physical body was separated the moment the system was activated. The physical body outside was receiving the youth's palm caress and the young girl's embrace. The soul inside sank into the sea of consciousness, excitedly waiting for the activation of the Destiny system. In fact, the Destiny system had appeared when Wang Lan was 7 years old. As a transmigrator, he naturally accepted the existence of the system. After all, a cheat was a standard for transmigrators. But this Destiny system was a little capricious. Before activating the Destiny system, one had to complete a trial test. Only by passing the test could the system be activated. At that time, Wang Lan was so excited that he jumped up and down on his bed, thinking that the peak of his life was right in front of him. But when he saw the test questions, Wang Lan was dumbfounded. As a person of destiny, one must have great wisdom, great perseverance, and great luck. To pass the Destiny test, you have to choose one of the 3 tasks. The Great Wisdom task, the disorderly opening of the alternate dimension, and the mystery of the origin of the demons have puzzled human civilization for thousands of years. Countless pioneers have risked their lives to step into the alternate dimension. The demons have invaded the human world again and again. Young man of wisdom, use your intelligence and wisdom to solve all these mysteries. I'll untie your grandmother's foot binding. This is a problem that has puzzled the world for thousands of years. The entire human civilization has studied it for thousands of years and still couldn't solve it. You want me, a child, to solve it? Have some shame. The Great Perseverance Trial. As a person of destiny, you can't just rely on destiny to succeed. You have to put in unimaginable effort and have a perseverance that ordinary people can't compare to. No matter what test or competition, you have to bravely obtain first place and pass the first test 1,000 times consecutively. You can't break in the middle. Once you break, your experience will be reset to 0. Obtaining first place 1,000 times consecutively? Have some shame? Poor me. Although I wasn't a bad student in my previous life, I definitely wasn't a top student. Thinking about how I obtained first place 1,000 times consecutively, I suddenly feel devoid of love. The trial of great luck. As a person of destiny, you must have great luck accompanying you. Buy a lottery ticket and win a special prize. If you buy more than one lottery ticket, you will win the first lottery ticket. Young man, go and participate in the trial. Prove that you are blessed by heaven and earth, and that you are the child with the best luck. Seeing this, Wang Lan just wanted to smash the table. 1 lottery ticket, 7 numbers, and winning the special prize. What were the odds again? Was this a task that could be completed by humans? After thinking about it again and again, Wang Lan finally felt that the second trial of great perseverance was something that could be completed by mortals. The first and third trials, are you kidding me? Chapter 2. The Takashi Hoshi campus of Sioux City No. 1 Middle School was only a wall away from the main campus of Sioux City No. 1 Middle School. The Takashi Hoshi campus was naturally the place where students who had awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent would study. The origin of Takashi Hoshi was a problem that had troubled mankind for thousands of years. If one wanted to trace it back, they would have to trace it back to the mythological era. Mankind had appeared 7 million years ago, and Homo sapiens had appeared about 300,000 years ago. The Takashi Hoshi talent seemed to have accompanied the evolution of mankind since the beginning. Some historians believed that the appearance of Takashi Hoshi talent was related to the opening of alternate dimensions, while biologists believed that Takashi Hoshi talent was a product of human evolution. The Takashi Hoshi talent was hidden in human genes, and anyone could awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent and become a Takashi Hoshi talent. The Takashi Hoshi talent was just a part of the complex machine that was human civilization. It was a special individual that evolved to protect the continuation of human civilization. From the legends of the mythological era, to the history of the feudal dynasty, and to modern history, the Takashi Hoshi talent had never been separated from the main human civilization. In the past, the awakening of Takashi Hoshi talent depended on fate. Since the invention of the soul resonator 200 years ago, mankind could stimulate the soul resonator to ensure that everyone who had the potential to awaken the talent of Takashi Hoshi would succeed. The best age for the soul resonator was between the ages of 14 and 15. Therefore, every high school student in Jade State would undergo the soul resonator before graduation. Those who had awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent would be admitted to the Takashi Hoshi campus, while those who did not have the talent of Takashi Hoshi would study in the main campus. Even with the help of the soul resonator, the number of Takashi Hoshi talent awakened was still very small. There might not be one Takashi Hoshi talent in 100 students. Those who had the talent of Takashi Hoshi talent would not wait until the soul resonator to awaken it. They would usually awaken it during puberty. Just like the Ice Queen of Takashi Hoshi campus, who awakened at the age of 9 in her second year. Logically speaking, Wang Lan should have awakened his Takashi Hoshi innate talent when he was 8 years old. However, his Takashi Hoshi innate talent was a little special. He had awakened the system. Every self-awakened Takashi Hoshi would have an innate ability, and Wang Lan's innate ability was probably the destiny system. Moreover, it was a very childish and stupid system. Wang Lan had insisted on not changing this evaluation all these years. Just because you've awakened, what's the point of having a test? He had seen others assess themselves, but he had never seen himself assess himself. You're my Takashi Hoshi innate talent, just like my left and right hand. What's the point of slapping my own face when it's on my body? Because of this, Wang Lan was forced to hide his Takashi Hoshi innate talent for 8 years even though he had already awakened it. He even failed the soul stimulation awakening ceremony in the 3rd year of middle school and was judged to have no Takashi Hoshi innate talent. However, he knew that he did not have the innate talent because he had not completed the system activation mission. Time to eat. Puberty youths had a special obsession with eating. At this age, no matter how much they ate, they would not be able to last until it was time to eat. The last half an hour would definitely be spent in hunger. Following the sound of the bell, all 62 students rushed out of the classroom. Wang Lan put down the phone that he was using to order takeout. He had promised to treat the whole class to milk tea, so he had to keep his promise. Sinyu, let's go eat. Takashi Hoshi Campus, Year 2 Class 1. A sweet-looking girl put her arm around Jiang Sinyu's shoulder and invited her. No, I don't have an appetite. Why? You scored 450 points and were ranked 2nd in the city. You beat all the Year 2 students in the city. Why are you in a bad mood? You beat all the Year 2 students in the city, but you were mercilessly whipped by that man. Sigh, Snow Queen has always been dizzy with honor since she was young. She received so many awards that her hands went soft. Everyone knows that she is a perfect genius. However, in the past 7 years, she was whipped by that man more than 800 times. He seemed to have become a haze in Sinyu's heart. After Year 3, our Takashi Hoshi class will no longer take the same exam as the other classes. This is the last time that Sinyu will challenge the prodigy. However, reality is cruel. The difference is 10 points. After 400 points, it is so difficult to improve by even 1 point. Tisk tsk tsk? This voice was very annoying. It was as if she was asking for a beating. However, those who knew them well knew that this was just a joke between close friends. Su Xiangwen, Gong Feiyu, and Jiang Xinyu were not only classmates, but also best friends. Only they could joke about each other. If it was someone else? Come, let's exchange pointers in the arena. Su Xiangwen, it's fine if you have a bad mouth, but if you have a bad mouth at this time, won't you be beaten to death? Behind Su Xiangwen, a sunny youth reminded him with a smile. So what if you beat me to death? If you want to beat someone, you should beat Wang Lan to death. He has been in love with our Xinyu for so many years, but he hasn't given in even once. This brat's intentions aren't simple. He wants to suppress Xinyu for life. If it was me, I wouldn't be able to endure it. Xinyu, why don't we go and get rid of him? Cough, cough, cough. The girl who told Jiang Xinyu to go eat was so scared that she hurriedly ran out of the classroom. The way these three talked was too scary. Bang! Jiang Xinyu suddenly slammed the table and walked out of her seat. Xinyu, where are you going? The school next door. Su Xiangwen blankly turned around. Why is Xinyu going to the school next door? Didn't you encourage her to get rid of Wang Lan? She didn't go there. Wang Lan likes to stand on the rooftop and enjoy the wind. Xinyu quietly walked behind Wang Lan and gave him a light push. Pa, it broke into pieces, perfect. F***ck, are you a psychopath? Speaking of which, Xinyu couldn't have really gone to find Wang Lan, right? Definitely. Besides Wang Lan, who else does she know in the school next door? But I think she might have something to say to Wang Lan, like... Su Xiangwen's eyes suddenly lit up. The more miserably she is bullied, the deeper her love. The more she is ravaged, the more she can't forget. I've long felt that Xinyu's feelings for Wang Lan aren't as simple as before. Let's go together? Of course. Destiny system activation complete. System activated. Completing the trial mission requires great perseverance. Reward: 100 activation skill points. On the rooftop of the school building, Wang Lan looked down at his classmates walking around the school happily and relaxed. If it was any other time, there definitely wouldn't be such a relaxed atmosphere. Jiang Province's education system was known for being cruel and brutal. The pressure of being a high school student was a terrifying memory that no one wanted to recall. Today was the day of returning to school after the final exams. After the afternoon cleaning, it would officially be summer break. Without the pressure of studying, the results of the exams were already set in stone. Therefore, during lunch break, the school was filled with laughter. After waiting for 8 years, the system was finally activated. Wang Lan couldn't wait to dive into the system. Opening the system, the first thing that came into view was the character's stats. Name: Wang Lan. Character level: Heavenly Body. Tier 1. Below were the character's stat. The stats were very average, mostly between 8 and 9. Other than strength, which stood out at 12. At the bottom was the experience column, which was currently empty. At the bottom right was the skill point, which was 100. According to the system's notification, this was the activation skill point after the system was activated. Wang Lan was someone who had read countless web novels. He immediately concluded that this skill point would be a very important tool in the future. It might be the foundation of his life. Behind the character's stats page was the list of skills. This was what Wang Lan was most concerned about. Over the years, Wang Lan had never doubted that he would become a Takashi Hoshi. Therefore, he had spent a lot of effort in combat, physical fitness, and practical training since he was young. Even if Wang Lan hadn't awakened as a Takashi Hoshi, his combat ability should still be among the top of the average person. He could easily take down a dozen people. Of course, he would be unarmed. The skills page was divided into Takashi Hoshi skills and normal skills. Each type of skill was further divided into active and passive skills. Looking at the Takashi Hoshi skill column, Wang Lan's face darkened. The active skill column was empty, but there was a passive skill in the passive skill column. Self-healing, Iron Level 1, 0/1. He focused on self-healing and the skill description popped up. Rapid recovery of physical injuries. Was this skill good? Although it seemed ordinary, it was very practical. In the game, it was a healing skill. However, this wasn't what Wang Lan wanted. He could be a mage, a warrior, or an assassin. However, Wang Lan didn't want to be a meat shield. Since ancient times, which one of those who walked the path of stacking armor had a good ending? To put it nicely, he was called an iron fool. To put it bluntly, he was called an iron tortoise. And the initial skill often determined the path that one would take. Why did he feel that his future was still bleak after awakening the system? Having just awakened the system, it was normal that he didn't have any Takashi Hoshi skills. Unless it was a Takashi Hoshi family that had inherited the Takashi Hoshi skills, most people's Takashi Hoshi skills had to be learned. Wang Lan immediately looked at the basic skills page. Basic skills might not be important in a game, but this wasn't a game world. Basic skills were as important as Takashi Hoshi skills. There was a saying in the Takashi Hoshi world. Takashi Hoshi skills determined the upper limit of a Takashi Hoshi, and basic skills determined the lower limit of a Takashi Hoshi. Even if one didn't have any Takashi Hoshi skills, they could become a powerful Takashi Hoshi just by practicing basic skills. Although this saying was extreme, it wasn't without reason. Activating Takashi Hoshi skills required star power, and star power was mana for Takashi Hoshi. If it wasn't a last resort, they would save as much mana as they could. Normal skills could still be used to kill enemies in one move. Hand-to-hand combat, Iron LV8 0-1, close combat swordsmanship, Iron LV3 0-1, body movement, Bronze LV1 0/10, 1-inch punch, Bronze LV3 0 out of 10. Among the normal skills, there were 2 that had reached bronze level, and the number in the brackets should be the required skill points. Seeing this, Wang Lan had already confirmed the use of skill points. Naturally, he also understood that whether he could eat meat or drink soup in the future depended on how he obtained skill points. Bronze level skills required 10 skill points to upgrade, and so on. If he wanted to upgrade a skill to silver level, he would need 100 skill points. If he wanted to upgrade a skill to silver level, he would need 1,000 skill points. If he wanted to upgrade a skill to gold level, he would need 10,000 skill points. Damn, why did it feel like a bottomless pit? 1-inch punch, an active skill. When he punched, he would explode with 3 times the strength of his punch. These beautiful stats and skills were the result of Wang Lan's 7 years of training. Moreover, because he hadn't developed in the past few years, his training progress was slow. Only in the past 2 years did his training progress increase rapidly. A faint fragrance wafted into his nose, waking Wang Lan from his mental state. Unknowingly, a slender and graceful girl had appeared beside him. "So you really are here." These words were filled with a long-lost emotion. Ever since Jiang Xinyu started studying at Takashi Hoshi, this was the first time in 2 years that Wang Lan and her had met in such close proximity. The immature child in his memory had unknowingly grown up. Chapter 3. Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu had known each other for a long time. How long had that been? Wang Lan had seen Jiang Xinyu in open crotch pants. Ever since she was young, Jiang Xinyu's personality had always been very headstrong. Everyone around her would always compliment this heaven-blessed girl who was born extraordinary. Except for Wang Lan. "Why are you here?" Wang Lan asked with a smile. "You won." Jiang Xinyu blurted out a sentence without rhyme or reason. However, this sentence did not carry the dejection of a loser. Instead, it sounded like a victor's declaration. "I won? What won?" "You're still so annoying. You know the truth but you still like to pretend. Can't you let me win just this once?" If others were to see the Ice Queen Jiang Xinyu speaking to a boy like this, they would probably be shocked to the point their eyeballs would drop to the ground. "You're talking about the exam? Don't tell me you've been secretly competing with me for so many years? How boring are you?" Wang Lan complained. "You're saying this is boring? Is it boring for you? Jiang Sinyu's mood suddenly became somewhat agitated. Isn't it boring? You're a Takashi Hoshi. As long as you pass the college entrance exam, you'll pass. Why are you putting in so much effort just for a fight? Have you ever heard of the saying 60 points is a waste? Men. What do you mean? Saying one more point is a waste. What about you? From elementary school until now, you've always been first in all the exams. Your Majesty, you're very vain, aren't you? How so? If it wasn't because I had no choice, who would be willing to put in so much effort? Isn't the bed nice? Isn't the sofa soft? Is it because of the bet? Jiang Xinyu lowered her head slightly. Her cheeks were slightly red. No, I don't bet with people. For a damn trial mission, I'm going to get first place 1,000 times in a row. Is this something a human would do? Wang Lan muttered to himself as he rested his head on the back of his head. It's almost time for class. I'm leaving. Whoosh, a gust of wind blew, and the air suddenly became a little cold. Wang Lan stiffly turned his neck, only to see a pair of cold and murderous eyes. You actually forgot? Or should I say, you actually never took it to heart? Not good. Su Xiangwen's expression changed as he shouted. He quickly closed the eye on his forehead. Xinyu wants to attack. She's gone crazy. As soon as he finished speaking, the two figures flashed and rushed toward the rooftop where Wang Lan was in a few leaps and bounds. Why hasn't your temper changed? Explode just like that. Wang Lan's vision blurred, and Jiang Xinyu appeared in front of Wang Lan with a series of afterimages. She grabbed Wang Lan's collar. Do you want me to remind you that 8 years ago, in the 3rd grade, Xinyu, don't be impulsive? A cry interrupted Jiang Xinyu's words. Su Xianwen and Gong Feiyu rushed to the rooftop in panic. That's right, Xinyu. If you're angry, you can break Wang Lan's legs. You can hit him however you want, but don't really push him down. He'll die. F***CK, Gong Feiyu, are you speaking human language? Why aren't you coming to save me? Wang Lan's body was half on the edge of the rooftop. He was weak, helpless, and pitiful. What are you doing here? Jiang Xinyu's expression turned cold, but she gently let go of her hand. Her face was slightly red, and she flipped her long hair. Forget it, forget it. It's almost time for class. Wang Lan patted his chest and tidied up his messy collar. I say, Brother Lan, congratulations on defending your title again. Su Xianwen put his arm around Wang Lan's shoulder and whispered in Wang Lan's ear, beautifully done. You ravaged her more than 800 times. Normal people can't be so ruthless. You bastard, are you fanning the flames from the side? Otherwise, why would Xinyu explode? I knew you were up to no good. Did you want to kill me and inherit my money? Sorry, I'm Xinyu 8, a Purple Diamond member. I don't care about your money. Are you done? Let's go. Let's eat barbecue tonight? Gong Feiyu suggested with a bright smile. I won't be coming. I have something to do tonight. Wang Lan was now focused on studying the system. Since he had awakened the system, he had also awakened the Takashi Hoshi's talent. For the three of them, they might spend less time together in the future, but for Wang Lan, there was still a long way to go. Jiang Xinyu was indeed acting strangely today. Wang Lan held his chin and pondered. He hadn't seen Jiang Xinyu for a long time. Aside from contacting her online, Wang Lan was busy studying in real life, while Jiang Xinyu was busy cultivating. Even if they only exchanged a few simple greetings on the internet, he couldn't remember how he had offended this woman whose temper grew as she aged. Why was she so agitated today? Suddenly, Wang Lan trembled. 8 years ago, in the 3rd grade? At that time, Wang Lan and Jiang Xinyu were tied for first place. Even though they had the same score, Jiang Xinyu wanted to surpass Wang Lan. Would Wang Lan agree? What if he agreed? What would happen to his trial mission? In the midst of their argument, the two of them seemed to have made a bet. Wang Lan, you annoying man. I, Jiang Xinyu, swear that I'll do better than you in the next exam. Good luck, I believe in you. Ah, I'm so angry. If I don't win, I'll jump down from here. Why are you so stubborn at such a young age? How about this, if I win, you'll be my wife when you grow up. What if I win? I'll be your husband. Okay. It's a deal. Wang Lan had known Jiang Xinyu since he was young. He knew that this girl could do anything when she was agitated. Moreover, she was very stubborn. The more you persuaded her, the more stubborn she would be. If she said she would jump down, she might really jump down. Anyway, they were all children. Wang Lan treated it as a joke and forgot about it a few days later. Moreover, Wang Lan remembered that the bet was for the next exam. From the time of the bet until now, even if she hadn't experienced it 1,000 times, she had experienced it more than 800 times. This girl's stubbornness isn't just stubbornness anymore. It's bigotry. Wang Lan chuckled and shook his head. Moreover, with Jiang Xinyu's intelligence, wouldn't she be able to tell that a child's words carried no harm? No one in the world would take a 10-year-old's bet seriously, right? Maybe she wasn't talking about that time. Let me think about it again. Because it was the last day, there was only one class in the afternoon. Actually, it wasn't a class. It was just summer homework. In addition to some homework given by the teachers, there were also gifts prepared by Abbess Miju. As expected, there were 5 years of college entrance exams, 3 years of mock exams, and all kinds of error-prone questions. Appreciation, my ass. When they saw the pile of homework in front of them that was thicker than the beginning of the semester, the students of Class 1 were in despair. Some even stared at the 1-foot-thick pile of homework and muttered to themselves, "Crazy. Abbess Miju is crazy. Old Lan is crazy. They're all crazy." Carrying his bag, Wang Lan got on the bus and went straight home. In the business center of Sioux City, Wang Lan had 3 office buildings. Each building was more than 30 stories high. Before his mother went missing, she gave these 3 buildings to a professional manager to manage. There was no need for any commercial operations. They were just rented out for rent. Wang Lan's home was in the Xinyu building. The top floor was his home, with an area of 500 square meters. There was an independent elevator that went up and down. The elevator buttons were all locked with a fingerprint. Only Wang Lan could use it. The underground garage was divided into 3 floors. The first and second floors were public garages. The third floor was converted into a training area. The training area was covered with PS armor. This type of armor could be converted into a powerful magnetic field through electricity. As long as the electricity was not exhausted, ordinary weapons could not cause damage to the PS armor, not even scratch it. Wang Lan lay on a chair in the training area. His mind was immersed in the sea of consciousness. First of all, he had 100 skill points. Second, he had a self-healing Takashi Hoshi skill. Under normal circumstances, after a person awakened the Takashi Hoshi skill for the first time, all aspects of the body would be strengthened. The weaker the foundation, the more obvious the strengthening. However, Wang Lan's foundation was not weak. Before the system was activated, his various qualities had been developed to a certain level. As for how much the improvement was, it would have to be measured. Wang Lan came in front of the strength detector. He took a deep breath and punched out like lightning. Boom! 200 kilograms! Wang Lan's face was filled with joy. Before this, his strongest punch was only 150 kilograms. In other words, after awakening the Takashi Hoshi skill, his punch strength had skyrocketed by a quarter. Wang Lan took a deep breath again. Following the magical power technique of the 1-inch punch, he punched the target in front of him again. Boom! A loud sound was heard. 700 kilograms! Wang Lan was overjoyed. The previous 1-inch punch could only explode 400 kilograms at most. 700 kilograms was already more lethal than a normal person. Apart from some talented people who could punch out 600 kilograms or more, a normal person could only punch out 300 kilograms or more. With Wang Lan's 16-year-old slender body, she had unleashed a fist strength of 700 kilograms. The physical quality of a star martial artist could be seen at a glance. Moreover, Takashi Hoshi's advanced fighting ability was the Takashi Hoshi skill. The one-inch punch, just now, was only a basic skill. With the power of Takashi Hoshi's basic skill, Wang Lan's skill was stronger than most of the Takashi Hoshi students. However, the next step was the key. Wang Lan focused on training the one-inch punch. It was bronze level 3, so it needed 10 points to upgrade to bronze level 4. Without hesitation, Wang Lan added skill points to the one-inch punch. After adding 10 points, the original bronze level 3 skill became bronze level 4. After the skill leveled up, Wang Lan could clearly feel that the muscles in his body seemed to be more flexible. The movement of his strength was smoother than before. Ha! His punch once again hit the strength detector. Boom! 800 kilograms, Wang Lan's body shook. His eyes were filled with shock. 800 kilograms. It was 100 kilograms more than before. Although in the eyes of Takashi Hoshi, this increase was very small, so small that it was negligible. However, the problem was that Wang Lan only took a few seconds to increase from 700 to 800. If he trained by himself, not to mention how long it would take at least a year to reach 800 kilograms due to the limitations of his body. I'm rich, I'm really rich. 10 skill points. In a few seconds I've saved a year of hard training. Skill points are indeed the cornerstone of my cheating life. As long as I have enough skill points, who the hell would want to run on the track with you? I want to fly. Wang Lan resisted the urge to add all his skill points to the one-inch punch. As a prodigy, he could not throw away his brain just because he had strength. The brain was a good thing, and he could not throw it away. Skill points were precious things. How to maximize the benefits of the skill points needed to be rationally allocated. 10 skill points were needed to upgrade a black iron skill to bronze level. 10 points were only enough to upgrade a bronze skill by 1 level, but it was enough to upgrade a black iron skill by 1 level. If he only relied on training, it would take at least 3 years to upgrade a black iron skill to bronze level. This was the most cost-effective investment. Hand-to-hand combat, black iron level 8. Add 2 points to upgrade to bronze level 1. Wang Lan's eyes suddenly became confused, and then he instantly became clear-headed. Chapter 4. It was a wonderful feeling. In martial arts novels, it was an epiphany. It was as if something that was difficult to understand in the past had been understood in an instant. The most important thing in hand-to-hand combat was not the brain, but the body. No matter how good the brain was or how fast the reaction was, it could not compare to the body's natural reaction. In addition to a deeper understanding of hand-to-hand combat, Wang Lan's mind also had many more moves that he did not have before. This is amazing. He then added the skill points to the close combat swordsmanship, and it was pushed to the bronze level. In the past, Wang Lan spent the least effort on the swordsmanship. His personal trainer also said that the real close combat swordsmanship was the actual combat swordsmanship. He could not teach the essence of it to Wang Lan. If Wang Lan really killed someone in actual combat, he would be shot. If he could not learn the essence of combat skills, Wang Lan would not spend much effort. However, swordsmanship was an essential skill for Takashi Hoshi. Almost 90% of Takashi Hoshi used swords. Why? Swords were simple, practical, and easy to learn. How good was a sword? There were many moves, elegant movements, and good lethality. However, for most Takashi Hoshi, they were fighting to survive on the battlefield. What was the point of being elegant if they could not save their own lives? With a sword in hand, they just needed to hack. Therefore, although Wang Lan knew that it was useless to learn swordsmanship before awakening to Takashi Hoshi, he still had to learn it. But now, with a few skill points, Wang Lan's swordsmanship instantly surpassed the beginner level and reached the proficient level. Even if he had not tested it with a sword, Wang Lan had this feeling. A swordsman did not need to hold a sword all day long. He knew his own strength even without a sword. Compared to basic skills, Takashi Hoshi skills were the foundation of a Takashi Hoshi. After Wang Lan awakened to Takashi Hoshi skills, there was only one passive skill, which was to start the fight naked. He remembered that when Jiang Xinyu had awakened, she had sneezed and added ice to the cola in his hand. Even the straw had been frozen. When it was his turn, it was fine if it wasn't an active skill, but it was even a self-healing skill. Could it be that he couldn't take it? Although he was disgusted, Wang Lan still added 10 points to self-heal. After 10 points, self-heal rose to bronze LVL1. But after a few seconds, the skill suddenly disappeared. This scene gave Wang Lan a huge fright. When he looked up and saw that the self-healing skill had become active, Wang Lan breathed a sigh of relief. Wait a minute, passive skills can become active skills? This was different from the game's settings. Wang Lan focused on the new bronze skill. Consume star power to recover from your injuries. The introduction was still simple and straightforward. Why would a passive skill become an active skill? Wang Lan was not puzzled by this for long. A newly awakened Takashi Hoshi wouldn't be able to control his innate ability at the beginning. Just like when Jiang Xinyu had sneezed and froze Wang Lan's cola. Could it be that she wanted to attack Wang Lan? It was purely because she didn't know how to control it. Wasn't it a passive skill for Jiang Xinyu? Thinking of this, Wang Lan suddenly felt relieved. This self-healing skill wasn't as ordinary as he thought. As a man who liked to take the initiative, the most unacceptable thing was to be passive. Wang Lan acted immediately. He took out a dagger from the weapon rack and slashed his arm. Of course, it was a light cut. First, a dark red mark appeared, then fresh blood slowly flowed out. Hurriedly using star power to activate a self-heal, Wang Lan stared at the wound without blinking. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. 5 seconds later, the wound was completely healed. Under normal circumstances, a wound would first form a scar and then a scar would fall off. However, under a self-heal, the wound didn't even form a scar. Very quickly, it was as clean as new. This wound was very small, so the healing speed was very fast. The consumption of star power was also not much, about 1/10 of it. And this was only self-heal, at bronze level 1. If self-heal was upgraded to silver or even gold, Wang Lan suddenly felt like he was floating. How fragrant! The more he despised it earlier, the more fragrant it was now. If it was someone else, they could only be a meat shield after obtaining self-heal. However, Wang Lan was a man with a system. As long as he had enough skill points, he could level up indefinitely through recklessness. At that time, he would be Uncle Wolf. No, Uncle Wolf was trash. He had to be Death's servant, also trash. In the future, he would be the goddess of death, a real immortal. Self-heal equals immortal. This might not work for others, but it could work for Wang Lan. However, this process might take a long time. Before he became a real immortal, Wang Lan had to lay low. Wang Lan, who was in a good mood, took out his phone and dialed a number. Master Huang, are you free now? Master Huang's name was Huang Feilong. He was Wang Lan's personal trainer, a star-blazing Takashi Hoshi. Takashi Hoshi had a clear division of levels. It could be seen clearly by activating star power and opening the Star Palace. Newly awakened Takashi Hoshi were all in the heavenly body tier. The stars in the Star Palace were like stars in the sky. One level higher was Star Glory. The stars in the Star Palace were as bright and dazzling as the sun and the moon. Above that was Nebula, Star River, and Star Sea. However, Wang Lan didn't know what the next realm was. As far as he knew, Star Sea tier was already the top fighting power among Takashi Hoshi. However, Wang Lan was deeply influenced by web novels. He was incomparably sure that there was a whole new level above Star Sea. A star-blazing Takashi Hoshi was willing to be hired by an ordinary person as a personal trainer? People who didn't understand would say that Huang Feilong was willing to give up the glory of being a Takashi Hoshi for money. But for Takashi Hoshi, who were in the middle of the Takashi Hoshi and had no chance to advance to the higher levels in their lives, this was a good job that made people envious. Takashi Hoshi also had to eat with others. Not only did they have to eat with others, but Takashi Hoshi's appetite was several times that of ordinary people. There were so many buffet restaurants in Sioux City. Who would dare to let a Takashi Hoshi in? During the dynasty era, the status of Takashi Hoshi rose and fell. However, most Takashi Hoshi's status was above that of ordinary people. Since the end of the dynasty era 200 years ago, the Jade State advocated for the unity of the country and equality of the people. As long as one was a citizen of the country, no one could be above others. It was obvious that human civilization was a machine. Every person belonging to the civilization was a part of the machine. Takashi Hoshi's mission was to protect the civilization from being bullied and harmed by foreign enemies. Protection was a responsibility and a mission. If even Takashi Hoshi rode on the heads of the people and abused their power, when the time came for humans to face foreign enemies, how could the Takashi Hoshi be willing to risk their lives to protect the people? Takashi Hoshi would receive the country's subsidies and benefits, but there were absolutely no special privileges. The benefits and subsidies were completely related to one's strength. In the Takashi Hoshi community, Xing Chun was at the bottom. Xing Yao was only slightly better than Xing Chun. The country's subsidies alone were not enough to support the sponsored partnership. Then, should they work? With the strength of Takashi Hoshi, they could make money doing anything. They could indeed make money, but they could not make a lot of it. Takashi Hoshi were strong, but there were cranes and forklifts at the dock. Takashi Hoshi were fast, but there were robots working on the assembly lines in the factories. Compared to ordinary people, Takashi Hoshi did not have an advantage in their jobs. They did not have the education or the skills. Even if they worked as an ordinary person, the income was not enough to support the livelihood of a Takashi Hoshi. An ordinary person could support themselves with 7,000 to 8,000 yuan a month. They could also sing and buy clothes. However, for Takashi Hoshi, if their monthly food expenses were less than 10,000 yuan, they could only be described as hungry and cold. Therefore, for many Takashi Hoshi, there were only two places to go. One was the army and the other was the Wasteland Reclamation Corps. However, Takashi Hoshi was an extremely cruel community. The survival of the fittest was the survival of the fittest. The weak were considered lucky if they could escape unscathed, especially for Takashi Hoshi like Huang Feilong, who was close to 40 years old and whose strength was limited to star blazing. They could either become someone's bodyguard or a personal trainer. Being a personal trainer was obviously more respectable. After all, trainers were called masters or teachers. Huang Feilong was Wang Lan's personal trainer, but Wang Lan knew that he had at least 5 people under him. He also opened a small martial arts dojo and collected tuition to teach students. With so many part-time jobs, he had to be ranked behind Wang Lan because they could only be done with Wang Lan's permission. If Wang Lan didn't allow it, Huang Feilong would either give up his 70,000 yuan monthly salary and leave, or be his personal trainer wholeheartedly. A monthly salary of 70,000 yuan could let a Takashi Hoshi live a good life. Therefore, Huang Feilong was always at Wang Lan's beck and call. Even if he was being intimate with his wife, he would be ruthless and leave with his pants up. In less than half an hour, Huang Feilong's car drove to the parking lot on the 3rd floor of the basement. He walked over bare-chested. Huang Feilong had many scars on his body, which were left behind when he was in the Wasteland Reclamation Corps. An ordinary man with scars was definitely a bad guy that women hated, but a Takashi Hoshi with scars was a hero's medal in the eyes of women. And to leave so many scars and still be able to retire with all 4 limbs intact, He was definitely a warrior who had been through hundreds of battles. Who dared to say that he was weak? Who dared to say that he was a coward? If you could leave so many scars and not die after taking off your clothes, you were a hero. Young Master Lan, why are you so early today? Summer vacation starts tomorrow. Wang Lan didn't have the arrogance of a rich family's son. He spoke to people in an easygoing and polite tone. This was also the reason why Huang Feilong cherished this job so much. He was generous, easy to talk to, and even agreed to let him earn some extra money. Where else could he find such a good boss? Then what kind of training does young Master Lan plan to do today? Let's start with free combat, Wang Lan said as he took off his clothes, revealing the tight elastic short-sleeved shirt inside. I won't be wearing protective gear today. It'll affect my movements. Okay. Huang Feilong didn't hold back. He smiled and jumped into the ring. With one hand behind his back and the other in front of his chest, he attacked. This starting position was a bit pretentious. Wang Lan had been unhappy for a long time. However, even if Huang Feilong allowed Wang Lan to use one hand, Wang Lan wouldn't be able to beat him. Pretentious with strength was pretentious. Therefore, even if he was unhappy for a long time, Wang Lan could only endure it. Wang Lan's movement technique had already reached bronze. This was a sudden epiphany during their sparring session. What did Huang Feilong say at that time? Young Master Lan's movement technique had already reached the next level. All those punches weren't in vain. Just listening to it made one's heart ache. And now Wang Lan didn't just want to dodge punches and kicks. He wanted to attack. Without probing, he rushed directly to Huang Feilong's face. This change from his usual style made Huang Feilong a little surprised. Huang Feilong casually blocked the punch, and then raised his leg to kick Wang Lan's chest. Chapter 5. As Wang Lan's full-time coach, he had to know Wang Lan's strength like the back of his hand. Not only did he have to know it like the back of his hand, but he also had to have a clear understanding of Wang Lan's strengths and weaknesses and come up with targeted training. Therefore, according to Huang Feilong's judgment, this kick should be able to hit Wang Lan's chest and send him flying. Of course, he had to conserve his strength. Just like in martial arts movies, the kick looked fierce, but he couldn't use too much strength. But in the next moment, Huang Feilong suddenly felt his foot kick air. Just as he was stunned, Huang Feilong saw from the corner of his eye that Wang Lan's body was upside down and he was supporting himself with one hand on the ground. Instantly, Huang Feilong's mind burst with a thought. **T. Wang Lan kicked Huang Feilong's chin from the bottom up, kicking Huang Feilong high into the air. Boom! With a muffled sound, Huang Feilong fell to the ground with his back facing the sky. Of course, an ordinary person would be seriously injured by this blow, but as a Takashi Hoshi, Huang Feilong was fine except for a little pain in his chin and a little numbness from biting his tongue. Wang Lan came to Huang Feilong's side and pulled him up. Huang Feilong's tongue was not listening to him. Although he was speaking, Wang Lan couldn't hear him clearly. Master Huang, are you sure you're a star-blazing Takashi Hoshi? Wang Lan asked with a little suspicion. Increase without ceasing? I, a heavenly body tier fighter, can beat you down. You weren't fooling me before, were you? That's because I underestimated you. With your fighting skills 2 days ago, you definitely couldn't do this move. The dodge, counterattack, the moves were all very smooth and impeccable. Did you have an epiphany these 2 days? Wait, what did you just say? Me? I said, were you fooling me before? No, the previous sentence. A star-blazing player like you was defeated by a heavenly body tier player like me. Your heavenly body tier? When did you reach the heavenly body tier? Today. Come, open the Star Palace for me to see. Wang Lan trusted Huang Feilong a lot. This person was straightforward and had taught Wang Lan for 5 years. Moreover, the Kaixing Palace was the most direct proof of a Takashi Hoshi. To a Takashi Hoshi, there was nothing to hide. Opening a star palace was just like Takashi Hoshi's instinct. There was no need to learn it. He mobilized all the astral power in his body and let it flow. Wang Lan's body was instantly surrounded by ripples of light. Above his head, within a faintly discernible void ripple, a bright star was embedded in it like a gemstone. Looking at this scene, Huang Feilong couldn't stay calm. "Young Master Lan? You're 16 years old this year?" "Yes. 2 years ago, you participated in the soul resonance stimulation. Even the soul resonance stimulation didn't awaken your Takashi Hoshi talent, but now you're awakening it on your own? What's wrong? Awakening is awakening. There's nothing to be surprised about. But shouldn't you adjust my study plan? Nothing to be surprised about? This pretentiousness is too stiff. Bad review." Huang Feilong roared in his heart. The soul resonance stimulation was scientifically certified. It could help 99.8% of people with the Takashi Hoshi talent successfully awaken it. The remaining 0.2% was because he was afraid that he would be too proud to give full marks. If even the soul resonance stimulation couldn't awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent, then there wouldn't be any Takashi Hoshi talent. Since the advent of the soul resonance instrument, there had been no precedent of people who had experienced the soul resonance stimulation but didn't awaken it. It was useless even if they experienced it 100 times. Geniuses didn't need the assistance of the soul resonance stimulation. They would awaken on their own before the age of 13. Those who had awakened through the soul resonance stimulation were generally relatively mediocre. But what was this thing in front of him? Even the soul resonance stimulation couldn't awaken him, but he was the one who had awakened? You're already 16 years old, and you can still awaken on your own? Such a monstrous thing will definitely be on the news, right? There's nothing to be surprised about. There's nothing to be surprised about, but the people from the Takashi Hoshi Research Academy will probably be excited to invite you to join their research. Your existence proves that the soul resonance stimulation isn't foolproof. They can even find a second method of awakening from you, and they can even awaken the entire population. Wang Lan suddenly shuddered. "Don't scare me. We scientists have a humane spirit." "Yes, but for the sake of benefiting human civilization for generations to come, sacrificing you is still worth it." Huang Feilong chuckled. Seeing that he had really scared Wang Lan, he clapped his hand. "Forget it, I won't scare you. Although your situation is special, it's not enough to shake the foundation of science, so I won't do anything to you. Since you've successfully awakened, I should adjust my teaching. Come, let's have a real battle between Takashi Hoshi." The two separated by 5 meters, both cupping their fists and bowing. "Master Huang, please advise me." "Young Master Lan, please advise me." Schwa, the two figures instantly moved. As soon as they came into contact, their fists and feet flew. Their movements were so fast that it was almost impossible to see the speed of their punches and kicks. If one were to use a high-speed camera to film it, one would have to slow it down by 3 times to be able to see the two's moves clearly. Huang Feilong's fighting skills were quite solid. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been chosen by Wang Lan as his personal trainer. Previously, he had been sent flying by Wang Lan's kick because he had been careless. In addition, Wang Lan's free-for-all skills had risen from iron to bronze. Bronze skills were at the professional level. Reaching this level meant that one was no longer at the learning stage. Following this, one could only rely on practice and comprehension. After exchanging blows for 2 minutes, Huang Feilong's movements suddenly sped up. His strength also rose to a new level. Boom! Wang Lan's defense was blocked by Huang Feilong's 8 trigrams chopping blade, leaving his chest wide open. Huang Feilong rushed forward and sent Wang Lan flying with a palm strike. Wang Lan crashed into the ring's guardrail, beads of sweat dripping down his forehead. After taking a few deep breaths, Wang Lan jumped down from the guardrail. "As expected, the gap between me and Master Huang is still so obvious. Young Master Lan, although I don't know if it's because you've awakened Takashi Hoshi or because you've experienced an epiphany, your fighting skills have already reached a higher level. I dare say that even those so-called geniuses who have undergone strict training since childhood and became Takashi Hoshi many years before you may not be as good as you are. Is that so? Wang Lan's face was still calm. He didn't reveal the joyful smile of a youth hearing praise. Seeing Wang Lan's expressionless face, Huang Feilong thought that Wang Lan didn't care. His expression immediately turned serious. Of course. Although you were an ordinary person before, your training has always been based on Takashi Hoshi's standard. I don't know how high young Master Lan's talent is, or what Takashi Hoshi skill you've awakened. However, I've told you more than once that talent and Takashi Hoshi skill can only determine how far a Takashi Hoshi can go in the future. Only basic skills can determine how far a Takashi Hoshi can go in the future. In the Takashi Hoshi world, especially before the Galaxy Realm, Takashi Hoshi mainly rely on basic skills to fight their enemies. Fighting, saber techniques, body techniques, strength, and endurance are the foundation of a Takashi Hoshi's survival on the battlefield. Learning basic skills may not make you a powerful Takashi Hoshi, but a powerful Takashi Hoshi must learn basic skills well. You can't look down on basic skills just because you've awakened a Takashi Hoshi talent. I understand. Wang Lan nodded. However, Master Huang, what's the most important basic skill? Of course, it's killing techniques. Takashi Hoshi are not ornamental objects. You have to kill exotic beasts, and when necessary, you have to kill your own kind. Although your fists and feet are important, they're too inefficient in killing enemies. Among the killing techniques, the saber is the most practical. As expected, in the past, Wang Lan had considered this the least important skill. However, after becoming a Takashi Hoshi, it immediately became the most important skill. Fortunately, Wang Lan's saber techniques had already reached the bronze rank. His strength shouldn't be any weaker than a free-for-all fighter. Then let's practice saber techniques. Wang Lan took 2 training sabers from the rack. The weight and style were exactly the same as a real saber. The only difference was that these sabers hurt, but they couldn't kill. Huang Feilong secretly rejoiced. Fortunately, young Master Lan hadn't focused on saber techniques in the past, so his proficiency in saber techniques was still lacking. Otherwise, I really wouldn't have anything to teach young Master Lan. Although young Master Lan can learn from me and become successful in the future, I'll still be proud. However, it's 70,000 yuan a month. If I don't have anything to teach, won't I be fired? I'll definitely use my full strength later and decide the victor with a single slash. I'll let young Master Lan know that I still have real skills. Thinking up to this point, Huang Feilong gripped his saber tightly. Young Master Lan, attack me. Okay. Saber techniques were very simple. They were just slashes. The so-called slash, lift, and slice were actually the use of the saber's edge. It wasn't like a sword, which mainly dealt damage by stabbing. In a clash between saber and sword, the sword definitely couldn't meet the saber head-on. The saber had acceleration. If the sword was used as a saber, it would break in a matter of minutes. Wang Lan rushed towards Huang Feilong in large strides and slashed down at a 45-degree angle. This was the most common opening move for a saber user. It was hard to tell who was better from the first move. A good saber user depended on the subsequent move. If Huang Feilong blocked this slash with his saber, it wouldn't show how good he was. Therefore, Huang Feilong instantly held his saber in a reverse grip and slashed towards Wang Lan's wrist. If Wang Lan continued to slash down, his entire hand would be chopped off. However, the saber in his hand was fake. He wasn't afraid of actually cutting off Wang Lan's hand, but it would probably hurt a lot. However, in an instant, Wang Lan changed his move. Although the saber in his hand was still slashing down, the saber nimbly turned 90 degrees in Wang Lan's hand and stabbed straight towards Huang Feilong's wrist. F***ck. Huang Feilong's heart suddenly skipped a beat and he hurriedly changed his move. Clang, the two sabers clashed and there was a crisp sound. Ding ding dang dang. In an instant, the light of the saber bloomed from Wang Lan's hand. The slashing, chopping, lifting, and slicing of the saber were displayed in Wang Lan's hand like fireworks. Every saber attack was sharp and impeccable. At least in Huang Feilong's eyes, Wang Lan's moves were actually able to keep up with his rhythm. How monstrous! Although Huang Feilong was able to calmly receive Wang Lan's sharp slashes, he was inwardly shocked to the point of no return. Young Master Lan's fighting skills were all taught by him. He was well aware of Wang Lan's level. There was absolutely no such strength in saber techniques, but suddenly, Huang Feilong felt that his position had been seriously challenged. Wang Lan learned saber techniques from someone else. It must be. Damn it. Which bastard dares to steal my man? There's no justice in the Jianghu. Thinking of this, Huang Feilong did not dare to hold back. He instantly displayed his trump card. His murderous aura coupled with his sharp saber techniques instantly suppressed Wang Lan's attack and countered it. Clang clang clang, crack, with a crisp sound, the sabers in their hands suddenly broke. What was fake after all. Under the two's serious attacks, the sabers finally could not withstand it and broke. The two looked at each other and panted. This 5-minute fierce battle was a gorgeous performance of saber techniques. There were no tactics, no back and forth. Both of them attacked first, neither of them giving an inch to the other. Wang Lan fought to his heart's content, but Huang Feilong was scared witless. The person who taught Wang Lan saber techniques was really something. He was not just for show. He was really capable. Master Huang is indeed Master Huang. Amazing. If it wasn't for the fact that my saber couldn't hold on, I wouldn't have been able to hold on. Chapter 6. I can't take it anymore. 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 Wang Lan's words made Huang Feilong's mind a mess. I'm a star glory tier star martial artist, and you're a heavenly body tier star martial artist who just awakened today. We've been slashing at each other's faces for 5 minutes, and in the end our sabers have been broken, yet there's still no clear victor. Do I need you to King console me? Are you trying to comfort me? Are you trying to take care of my face? Young Master Lan. Did you find another teacher? No. No. I don't remember giving you a lot of lessons on swordsmanship, right? I just explained how to use swordsmanship, and the lessons mainly focused on body movement and one-inch punch. Yes, but after Master Huang went back, I've been secretly cultivating, Wang Lan said in his heart. He really did secretly cultivate, and it took him a few seconds to add a point. That's impossible. Actual combat skills aren't just for show. You can't learn real skills by training alone. You need someone to teach you. You don't have to lie to me. That person has skills too. As long as you can learn real skills, I don't care if you learn from me. I really didn't. He gently wiped his sweat. Every time I practice, I imagine a person slashing at me with a sword, and I counterattack according to the image in my mind. After a long time, it became like this. Visualization cultivation. Huang Feilong looked at Wang Lan in shock. You can actually do visualization cultivation? No wonder. No wonder. Young Master Lan, I, Huang Feilong, am lucky enough to be your first teacher. Master Huang, please don't say that. Master Huang, can you give me some advice? Where should I improve my swordsmanship? Huang Feilong smiled and shook his head. The improvement of your swordsmanship is no longer something I can give you advice on. I'm just a star-blazing Takashi Hoshi, and I'm at the bottom of the Takashi Hoshi world. Young Master Lan has already grown to this point, and there's nothing I can teach you. Young Master Lan's future should be even more magnificent. Today should be the last lesson I teach young Master Lan. Why? I don't want to terminate the contract. I know, but I take young Master Lan's money to teach young Master Lan skills. If I can't teach young Master Lon any more skills, I shouldn't take your money. This is my bottom line. But before that, young Master Lon still lacked something. This was something that he had to master before entering the battlefield. I've seen many young geniuses with outstanding talent, even young geniuses whose strength wasn't inferior to mine. However, they all died in the first round of battle at the hands of exotic beasts. What is it? Wang Lan asked sincerely. Overcome the fear of death. Takashi Hoshi's battlefield is a true battlefield of life and death. When faced with a ferocious beast, young Master Lan's mind will go blank, and all the skills he learned will be forgotten. He won't even be able to resist before he's killed by a soul beast. Therefore, young Master Lan must overcome the fear of death before you enter the battlefield. Come, let's use real weapons. Huang Feilong took 2 real swords from the weapon rack, the kind that had been sharpened. Catch! Wang Lan caught the saber in his hand, his grip on the saber's hilt trembling slightly. Not only was he nervous, but he was also a little excited. Wang Lan could understand overcoming the fear of death. The feeling of a real sword charging at him was different from a fake one. Are you ready? I'm ready. A strong killing intent suddenly erupted from Huang Feilong's body. He charged at Wang Lan like a ferocious beast. Although Wang Lan wasn't as bad as Huang Feilong's example, his mentality had indeed become a lot heavier. Dang dang dang. After 7 or 8 moves, Wang Lan's mind was in a mess. All he could see was the gleam of swords. The sharp glint suddenly pricked his skin. Huang Feilong's sword stopped in front of Wang Lan. When you were using fake swords, you could attack me face to face for 5 minutes. But when you switch to a real sword, you can only take 12 slashes from me. Do you know how big the difference is now? I understand. Wang Lan swallowed, hating himself for being such a disappointment. You have to be calm. Only with a calm heart can your mind not be in a mess. Again. Wang Lan shouted. There's no need for that today. Huang Feilong pointed at Wang Lan's arm. There was a small cut on his arm. You're injured today. But for a Takashi Hoshi, this kind of injury is nothing. You'll recover in 2 days. You can practice again next time. You're still young, so there's plenty of time to overcome it. Huang Feilong couldn't help but give himself a thumbs up, praising his wit. In this way, the 3-day class should last for another semester. There's no need. This kind of injury doesn't matter at all. Of course, you don't have to care about this kind of small injury when you're on the battlefield. But there's no need to carry an injury during training. Suddenly, Huang Feilong's words stopped. His eyes were as round as 2 poached eggs. What did I just see? Wang Lan's injury was healing at a speed visible to the naked eye. It disappeared in 10 seconds. This wound was much bigger than the one Wang Lan had cut himself, so it took 10 seconds for it to heal. However, in Huang Feilong's eyes, it was a medical Takashi Hoshi skill. Could it be that Wang Lan had awakened a rare medical talent? What did a medical talent mean? It meant that one was a giant panda, a national treasure. Even if one's combat strength was terrible, even if one didn't know anything, as long as one could heal, there would be a large group of Takashi Hoshi to protect them. Only by protecting you will they be able to live longer and fight for a longer time. There might not be 1 in 10 Takashi Hoshi who was an auxiliary, and there might not be 1 medical in 10 auxiliary. Even if a medical Takashi Hoshi was mediocre, they would still be specially recruited to various famous schools and receive the best training. At this moment, Huang Feilong was jealous. You're actually a medical Takashi Hoshi? No, my innate skill is self-healing. I can only heal my own injuries. Nonsense. Huang Feilong pursed his lips and said, a medical awakened is indeed a medical awakened. If you can heal yourself, you can also heal others. You've just awakened now. It's not strange that many medical Takashi Hoshi can only heal themselves in the beginning. However, in the future, you'll be more proficient in your innate skills. Once you learn the Takashi Hoshi skill that can heal others, you'll be a medical Takashi Hoshi. Okay, Master Huang, let's do it again. You're already a medical Takashi Hoshi. Why are you still doing it? Do you still want to take the lead? Forget it. In the future, just stay at the rear and be in charge of healing the wounded at the front line. Don't worry, you'll be the treasure of all the wasteland reclamation teams. Even if I'm really a healer, I still have the heart of a warrior. If I don't overcome the fear of death, I won't be able to take the first step as a Takashi Hoshi. You told me that. Huang Feilong sighed and shook his head. I really don't understand the world of the rich. They can clearly rely on talent, but they insist on relying on hard work. Okay, let's continue. From 3 p.m. to 6 o'clock p.m., Wang Lan was injured again and again, but he had to heal himself again and again. After knowing that Wang Lan could heal himself, Huang Feilong was no longer as careful as before. His swordsmanship became sharper and sharper, and the angles of his attacks became more and more tricky. There was only one goal, and that was to let death approach Wang Lan again and again until Wang Lan could face the threat of death calmly and overcome the fear of death. An ordinary person would only be able to see the initial results after 3 hours. However, it was a pity that Huang Feilong encountered a different kind of person. Perhaps the self-healing gave Wang Lan courage, or perhaps Wang Lan was indeed talented in psychological endurance. After Huang Feilong completed the course, he officially announced that Wang Lan had successfully graduated. This time, there was really nothing to teach him. Although the fear of death still had some impact, it was not that great. When he went to the battlefield in the future, he would have plenty of time to slowly get used to it. Young Master Lan, I'm really a little reluctant to part with you all of a sudden, but my ability is limited, and I can only give you enlightenment and guidance. As someone who has experienced it before, I only have one piece of advice for you on how to proceed in the future. Seize all possibilities and opportunities to become stronger. When I said that those medical Takashi Hoshi can lie in a circle of protection, just treat it as nonsense. When you're really in a dangerous situation, the only thing that can protect you is yourself. The life of a Takashi Hoshi is very exciting and dangerous. Guard against arrogance and impatience, and run as fast as you can. As long as you run fast enough, death won't be able to catch up with you. I understand. Wang Lan picked up his mobile phone and waved at Huang Feilong, who was sitting in the car. Huang Feilong stepped on the accelerator, and the car rushed out of the garage and disappeared. Huang Feilong, who was driving away from Wang Lan's house, was not calm either. He did not expect Wang Lan to become a Takashi Hoshi. However, even if Wang Lan was not a Takashi Hoshi, he was still the most outstanding student that Huang Feilong had ever taught. He was also the only student who had given away his trump card. Ding dong, a text message popped up on the car's connection. He had received 200,000 yuan on his card. This brat. Why didn't he buy a gift to thank his teacher? So tacky. Although he said it was tacky, Huang Feilong was grinning from ear to ear. But I like it. After sweating a lot today, Wang Lan pressed the elevator to the top floor and took a hot bath. He was left with less than 30 skill points from his initial 100 skill points. When he was training to overcome his fear of death, Wang Lan spent 30 points to raise his self-healing skill to bronze level 4. At bronze level 4, Wang Lan's self-healing speed was much faster. It was twice as fast as when he started at bronze level 1. However, this was only self-healing. It was not at the level where Uncle Wolf could self-heal even if he was hit in the vitals. It could only ensure that he could recover quickly and continue fighting. With the remaining 30 skill points, Wang Lan was in a dilemma. Should he add them to his inch punch or his self-healing skill? Self-healing was very practical, and so was inch punch. Inch punch increased output, while self-healing increased resistance. Sigh, what should he do with both? Suddenly, Wang Lan looked at the knife technique section in shock. His knife technique had reached bronze level 2. Previously, Wang Lan clearly remembered that it was bronze level 1. Then there was only one explanation. Other than adding skill points, one could also rely on training to level up. Using an afternoon to overcome his fear of death, he made his knife technique sharper and more powerful. This was equivalent to increasing the strength of his knife technique. This analysis made sense. After turning off the water, he returned to his room wearing a bath towel. Just as he sat down, his phone rang. Chapter 7. Auntie, are you back? Lan, there's a very important meeting in Seoul, so I can't go back tonight. Oh, Auntie, take care of yourself. I know, Lan, go accompany Jia tonight. What's wrong? I promised to go back tonight and go to the summer camp with her tomorrow, but something came up. I just called her and she smashed her phone. Go comfort her for me. No problem, Auntie, don't worry about the meeting, leave it to me. Wang Lan agreed without hesitation. When Auntie was pregnant with Song Jia, Auntie's husband had an accident while doing a research experiment. Auntie later started a biotechnology company and raised Song Jia alone. Wang Lan's mother went missing on a mission when Wang Lan was 8 years old. He lived at Auntie's house for 3 years before moving out on his own. In Wang Lan's eyes, his mother and Auntie were both amazing women who had reached heights in their respective fields that many men couldn't reach. Some precocious children would understand the pressure and hardships of adults, but some wouldn't. Instead, they would think that their career was more important than themselves. Wang Lan could understand Auntie and Song Jia's feelings. He changed his clothes, took the elevator, got on his electric scooter, and left. Auntie's house was in Xiangting Bay, a high-end residential area in Sioux City. Because it was summer, the sun didn't set even at 6 o'clock in the evening. It was completely dark until 7 o'clock. Xiangting Bay was a completely enclosed residential area where outsiders couldn't enter. Even takeout and express delivery had to be handed over to the property management, who had people in charge of delivering the goods. First-class service, first-class efficiency, and first-class quality were Xiangting Bay's business card. Sorry, electric scooters are not allowed in this residential area. The security guard stopped a girl's electric scooter at the entrance and said politely, "Do you think I'm blind? I just saw an electric scooter go in. That's the owner of our residential area. I'm also an owner of this residential area, move." "Sorry, you're not. If you're looking for someone, please tell me their name and I'll contact them for you. Sorry, please don't block the entrance." The girl's negotiation was fruitless. She could only retreat to the side and suddenly take out her phone. "Dear friends from Shocking Fish live streaming platform, I originally wanted to bring everyone in to experience the environment and atmosphere of Fragrant Garden, but unfortunately, Chiuchiu can't even enter their door. It was worthy of being the most strictly managed and safest residential area in Sioux City. Chiuchiu had done her research before coming here. Most of the people living in this community were company bosses or regional presidents of listed companies, so it was natural that there would be such strict management. You have to bring your access card with you when you go out. Even when you take the elevator, you have to use your fingerprint. Wang Lan's electric donkey wobbled towards Xiangting Garden. When the woman saw that the security guards had also stepped forward to stop him, she revealed a gloating smile. If one had someone to accompany them when they were down on their luck, they would be in a good mood. Look, everyone. A pitiful child who met the same fate as Chiuchiu has appeared. Brave young man, let's see what method you'll use to break through. I can't afford it, sir. Our neighborhood doesn't allow battery-powered cars. Scram? Wang Lan immediately lifted his foot. Young Master Lan, please. Ha ha. Are you trying to kill me with laughter? 666 Chiuchiu, looks like it's not that you can't get close, but that you entered the password incorrectly. Yes, the password is voice-controlled. It's just scram. Chiuchiu, you've already obtained the password. Hurry up and break through. as expected of the most strictly managed and safest residential area. Normal people would never be able to think of such a voice-controlled password. The security guard returned with a chuckle. When he saw Chiocchio's expression, he was a bit embarrassed. He's the owner of our neighborhood. You don't even know him, okay? I've been a security guard here for 3 years. I know every single owner here. Young Master Lon comes here several times a month. Then why did you stop him just now? Isn't this a conditioned reflex? I have to stop dozens of outsiders like you every day. When I saw the battery-powered car coming, I went up. It was only when I got closer that I realized it was young Master Lon. Wang Lon rode into the neighborhood. It wasn't that he was arrogant, but that he was very familiar with the security guard at the entrance, Xiao Lu. That scram was also a joking greeting, just like how Wang Lon would often kick Zhang Hao's butt and tell him to scram. He rode the battery-powered scooter to the underground parking lot and directly occupied a parking space. When he entered his aunt's house, the housekeeper, Mrs. Feng, was busy in the kitchen. Young Master Lon is here? Yes. Hello, Mrs. Feng. Wang Lon came to the sofa and sat beside Song Jia. At this moment, Song Jia was staring at the TV in front of him. He was holding a teddy bear in his arms. The left side of his face was unhappy, and the right side of his face was unhappy. There was even anger engraved on his forehead. In any case, Song Jia's entire face was filled with anger, discomfort, and anger. Jia, do you want to turn off the TV? It's none of your business. Song Jia pouted and replied coldly. Anyway, you're not in the mood to watch TV. Isn't it a waste of electricity if it's on? What's the situation at the summer camp tomorrow? When Wang Lon mentioned this, Song Jia's eyes reddened and tears fell down. The top 10 students of each grade in the final exam will have to bring one parent to school tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. We'll go to the summer camp at the Tianmu Lake Resort. Why is my mom like this? She promised to come back tonight. She promised. She keeps telling me to keep my word and to abide by the contract. What about herself? She stood me up. She stood me up. Stop pinching it. It'll break if you pinch it again. Can't I go by myself? Wang Lon asked curiously. No, Tianmu Lake is an ecological resort. I have to bring a parent. It wasn't easy for me to get 5th place in the grade. Boo-hoo. Mom doesn't care about me at all. All right, it's not a big deal. Isn't bringing a parent to prevent any accidents from happening to my precious children? I'll go with you, okay? You? Song Jia turned his face and looked at Wang Lon from head to toe. Your face is too tender. Why don't you put on a fake beard and wear glasses? I've watched too many TV dramas. I'm already an adult and have no problem being your safety guardian. I have something to do tomorrow, but nothing is as important as Jia's matter. I'll go with you. Song Jia blinked his teary eyelashes. Since you're so sincere in your request, I'll be merciful and agree. I'll bring you along. You're not sad anymore. I'll go pack my backpack. I want to bring a lot of delicious food. Song Jia skipped away. Wang Lon wasn't lying to Song Jia when he said he had something to do tomorrow. Those who had awakened their Takashi Hoshi had to register at the Takashi Hoshi Hall. Only those who had registered as a Takashi Hoshi could carry weapons in public. Moreover, only those who had become a Takashi Hoshi could enjoy the benefits of being a Takashi Hoshi. Wang Lon didn't care about the benefits, but the identity of a Takashi Hoshi could be used to show off. In the past, Wang Lon would be so angry when he saw those Takashi Hoshi with maces and swords leaning on the sides of rough off-road vehicles flirting with girls. He wanted to castrate them. The next morning, Song Jia kicked open the door to Wang Lan's room. Lazy pig, get up. Wang Lan sat up subconsciously after receiving such a heavy blow. Seeing Song Jia's excited red face, Wang Lan looked at the alarm clock beside him speechlessly. Madam, it's only 5 o'clock. The sun is already high up in the sky. Get up. I can get up, but can you go out? Wang Lan scratched his fluffy hair. As someone who had awakened their Takashi Hoshi yesterday, he was so excited that he didn't sleep well. He felt like he had just fallen asleep when this little brat came to make trouble. I'm afraid that you'll fall asleep again if I go out. Get up, big lazy pig. I'll get up, but I can't change clothes if you're in my room. You don't want me to wear pajamas to accompany you to the summer camp, right? Oh, I'll give you 5 minutes. The school assembly was at 7 o'clock, but they arrived at 6:30. Wang Lan originally thought that he was already very early, but he didn't expect someone to be even earlier than him. Jia Jia here. A girl waved at Song Jia. Wang Lan followed Song Jia and looked at this famous aristocratic school in Sioux City. Multi-round bilingual academy, located in the business district of Sioux City, had the best hardware and facilities, the best teachers and, of course, the most expensive tuition fees. Those who could afford multi-round bilingual academy were either from rich or noble families. Rich families gave their children to the academy, so the academy had to provide the best education. Rich children were difficult to discipline, and it was impossible for them to commit crimes in the school. The school management was known for being strict. Committing crimes and bullying in the school? Any child here was made of gold, and it would be a big deal if they bumped into someone. So, if they didn't obey the school's rules, sorry, please take them away. Wow, the study god? When Song Jia brought Wang Lan to the gathering point for the 3rd grade, several Song Jia students who were already waiting there suddenly exclaimed when they saw Wang Lan. I'm not, you've got the wrong person. Wang Lan decisively denied. The title of study god was given to Wang Lan by the hundreds of thousands of elementary and middle school students in Sioux City. The first time they heard of such a Chunibu name was when he first entered high school. His alma mater, Chongshan School, released a transcript of Wang Lan's grades and rankings from 1st grade to 3rd grade. The original intention was to encourage students to be like Wang Lan and be hard-working students. However, once this transcript was released, it made Wang Lan a god in one fell swoop. Not only did it not set off a trend of learning from Wang Lan, but it also set off a wave of feudal superstition. From the first exam to the last exam, Wang Lan was actually first in all of them. In the class comprehensive exam, he ranked first in the class, first in the year comprehensive exam, and first in the city comprehensive exam. 4 students in the same batch as Wang Lan, first place was an impossible dream. Even if they fought for it, they could only get 2nd place. Was such an exaggerated and dazzling transcript something a human would do? Student Wang Lan had been cultivating for 9 years and was ranked first every time. She had successfully become a god. Such a monster was no longer allowed to exist in the mortal world. For a time, worship the study god in the exam, guaranteed not to fail. Toss a coin to worship the study god, and it worked every time. Study god again, morning and night. Wang Lan was so angry that his soul almost left his body when he found out. Therefore, when he heard this title again, the killing intent in Wang Lan's eyes gradually rose. The people in front of him were no longer cute primary school students, but a group of potential culprits. Study god? Wow, I'm so touched to see you in the flesh. Little fatty, don't be touched. I pray that you will fail every time. The smile on Wang Lan's face was so bright, but the curses in his heart were so vicious. Study god, can you give me an autograph? Sorry, I didn't bring a pen. I have a tablet, so I wrote it by hand. The tablet that was handed over was actually a photo of his identification. Where did the photo come from? I downloaded it from the internet. Your photo is in Study God's bar, mirror mirror high. Wang Lan would not really argue with a primary school student. He signed his name readily. When he passed the tablet to the other party, he suddenly paused. What's the size of your tablet? 7 inches. The young man flicked his bangs proudly. Oh, I'm sorry, I accidentally pressed the delete button. Chapter 8. Why aren't they here yet? I've been waiting for so long. Yeah, we said we'd leave at 7, but it's already 8. From the 1st to 5th grade, the 50 students began to complain. Children's patience was limited, and they began to complain when they were 10 minutes late. Don't worry, it's the morning rush hour. You know the road conditions in Sioux City, so we won't be here anytime soon. Please be patient. The teacher in charge of the organization kept comforting the students. Sure enough, a bus drove over soon. The bus stopped, and the group of primary school students cheered. That's bus number 1. Why isn't bus number 2 here yet? Yeah, where's bus number 2? Don't worry, I left half an hour earlier than bus number 2, and I've only just arrived. I think bus number 2 still has some time. Children and parents of bus number 1, please follow me. Everyone, line up. Forget it, I'm not going. I've waited for so long, I might as well play games at home. Yeah, so boring. After bus number 1 left, the remaining primary school students complained even more fiercely. Song Jia also kept kicking the ground, his face full of unhappiness. However, Song Jia's personality was more gentle and quiet, so he held it in for a long time without complaining. Surprises always came so suddenly. Not long after bus number 1 left, bus number 2 arrived. Seeing the arrival of bus number 2, the primary school students cheered enthusiastically again. Especially those who were complaining that they didn't want to go and wanted to go home, they were dancing more happily than anyone else. There were 52 seats on the bus, and adults and children sat in a row. As expected of the parents of an elite school, their manners were really good. They lined up and sat down in order. Other than the noise of the primary school students, the conversation between the adults was like a gentle breeze. Hello, Teacher Huang, we're on the bus too. How's the road condition? Sigh, don't mention it. It's so congested that we can't move at all. It'll probably be noon by the time we reach Tianmu Lake. I don't know what's going on today, but there's fog everywhere. The highway is blocked, so the whole city can't move. There's nothing we can do about it. See you at Tianmu Lake. Okay. After Chio-sensei hung up the phone, the driver suddenly said, Chio-sensei, the traffic in the city is so bad. Why don't we take the ring road? There shouldn't be that many cars on the ring road. Although it's an extra 30 kilometers, we should be able to get there in an hour. Really? Then I'll have to trouble you to take the ring road. All right, children and parents, please fasten your seatbelts. We're leaving. The bus started to move slowly. Sure enough, there was a big traffic jam as soon as they left the school gate. After passing through a section of road at the speed of a turtle, the bus began to speed up. The traffic in the city was almost paralyzed, so it was better to circle around the outskirts of Sioux City to reach the destination. The bus was filled with chatter and laughter. The teachers were busy playing games with the children. The atmosphere was lively and cheerful. Wang Lan tilted his head and looked out of the window. Perhaps this summer vacation would be his last peaceful time. Those who had awakened Takashi Hoshi would have to seize every opportunity to become stronger. In the world of Takashi Hoshi, if you don't become strong, you will die. For ordinary people, this world was very safe. The country they lived in was constantly becoming stronger. Public security was stable, the economy was soaring, and everyone was able to eat and wear warm clothes. However, the reason they could enjoy such a safe environment was inseparable from the Takashi Hoshi fighting and risking their lives. Ever since the demons were repelled 70 years ago, human civilization had welcomed such a long period of peace. However, throughout history, the demons had never given humans much time to rest and recuperate. And every time the demon race invaded, it brought back painful memories for the human race. From 200 to 70 years ago, in 130 years, the human population had plummeted from 7 billion to 2 billion. If the number of deaths of several generations was counted, it would be an astronomical number that humans were unwilling to think about. Although there was no war now, alternate dimensions were frequently opened. Every time an alternate dimension opened, It was necessary to send out exploration teams and armies to explore it. Those that could be used as training grounds were controlled, and those that couldn't were shut down. If nothing was done, the exotic beasts in the alternate dimensions would rush out of the alternate dimensions to hunt humans. Just look at the cities in the Middle East that were destroyed by the exotic beast. Look at the people who lost their homes because of the country's weakness. How fortunate it was to be reincarnated into such a strong and safe country. The country's strength was not only because of its soaring economy, but also because of the powerful Takashi Hoshi's strength. A country that had an economy but no Takashi Hoshi was a castle in the air. A country that had Takashi Hoshi but no economy was a militaristic country. Jade State was compatible with both, and was both tough and soft. The speed of the car suddenly slowed down, and Wang Lan's thoughts were pulled back. At this moment it was foggy outside the window. The fog was so thick that one couldn't even see their own fingers. The visibility was probably not even 2 meters, let alone 5 meters. What's going on? Why is there such a thick fog? Today's weather is really abnormal. Driver, can we still drive? Should we stop? No, this is a mountain road. We can't stop here. If the car behind us hits us, we'll fall off the cliff. It's fine if the visibility is too low. We can use the loudspeaker. The bus moved at a tortoise-like speed. After about half an hour, no other cars passed by. Wang Lan frowned. Although there were relatively few cars on the mountain road, there should still be an endless stream of traffic. Sir, are we going the wrong way? Wang Lan suddenly realized that something was wrong and asked loudly. No, I'm very familiar with the mountain road. I can drive with my eyes closed. However, the problem was that there was no difference between driving with his eyes closed and driving. With a visibility of 2 to 3 meters, he was basically blind. Sir, something's wrong. This slope has been going on for half an hour. Where is the slope so high? Slope? We're going uphill? The driver suddenly shouted nervously. Why do I feel like we're on flat ground? Not good. The scream made everyone in the bus jump. In an instant, the bus began to tilt violently. Wang Lan quickly hugged Song Jia, who was next to him. With a piercing scream, the bus suddenly lost its balance. The sky and earth spun, and the bus rolled and fell. Boom! The bus rolled and fell to the ground. When the bus stopped, Wang Lan quickly let go of Song Jia in his arms. Jia, how are you? Are you hurt? Brother, it hurts. Whoa, it hurts, Mom. Uncle, my head hurts, it's bleeding. In an instant the bus was filled with cries. Wang Lan unbuckled the seatbelt, and the bus fell to the ground. Wang Lan smashed the glass with his fist and nimbly got out of the bus. It was foggy just now, but now it was sunny. Moreover, this environment seemed to be a canyon. There was only one canyon in Sioux City, but it seemed that the Shishan Canyon was not like this. Was it because the angle was different? Brother. Song Jia raised his head and looked at Wang Lan with difficulty. Come, give me your hand, I'll pull you up. After carrying Song Jia out of the bus, a fashionable woman brought the children in her hands. Everyone, come one by one, don't squeeze. Wang Lan took the children one by one, and then helped the people in the bus get out of the bus. We fell from such a high place and we're all still alive? After coming out, the parents looked up at the cliff hidden in the clouds and felt that it was unbelievable. Not all of us are alive, the driver is dead. Don't be happy, quickly call for help. Damn it, my phone has no signal. How about your phones? No signal too. Didn't they say that 4G signal covers the whole city? Maybe the mountains are an exception. I'm afraid it's not that simple. A middle-aged man who looked to be in his 40s looked at the bus seriously. Look, the bus is reinforced. It's because of this reinforcement that the driver didn't fall to his death when he fell from the top of the mountain. But now that the driver is dead, I can't be sure if the reinforcement was done a long time ago for the safety of the passengers, or it was done temporarily. No matter what, let's think of a way to call for help first. Everyone, spread out and see if there's a phone signal. There were 25 children and 25 adults in the bus. Except for a few who were injured, most of the adults were fine. The children were helpless in such a situation and only knew how to cry, but the adults had already started to think of a way. Rumble. Suddenly, the sky darkened, and it started to drizzle without giving them a chance to breathe. It was June, and a drizzle was not a big deal. But the strange thing was that the raindrops were unusually cold, and they shivered when they fell on their bodies. The dozen or so parents who were originally looking for the signal ran back. Adults could still withstand the rain, but children could not, especially those who were frightened and injured. They could not bear to be drenched in the rain. Listen up, let's go back to the bus. Let's straighten the bus first, quick! The middle-aged man suddenly gave out orders, and his words carried the natural aura of a leader. Everyone subconsciously obeyed his orders. Wang Lan found a fallen tree not far away, and the 20 of them worked together to straighten the bus. The group hid in the bus again. The raindrops outside the window pattered, and gradually, beads of ice appeared on the window. It was June, but it was hailstones. Mom, I want to go home. Boo-hoo? I don't want to go to the summer camp anymore. One led the other, and the whole bus was filled with crying. Wang Lan frowned, and he felt uneasy. The strange fog, the strange fall in the canyon, and now the strange hailstones. We can't just wait. How about this, someone contribute a phone, and I'll make a simple signal transmitter. There shouldn't be a signal transmitter here, so our phones can't get a signal, a middle-aged man with glasses said in a low voice. It's useless. The middle-aged man who gave the order first said in a low voice, My phone is equipped with the best signal transmitter in Sky Blue Planet, and it's connected to a satellite. It's a military product, and the self-check is normal. But now there's no signal. The middle-aged man came to the driver's seat and moved the driver's body away. Let me see if the bus can still be driven. He started the engine, changed the gear, and checked. Not long after, he turned off the engine. The bus can be started, but the brakes are broken. The brake pads are probably broken, and we can't fix it without parts. Then what do we do? The most optimistic thing is to wait for the people outside to realize that we're missing, and then come to search for us. Chapter 9. The weather in the valley was really strange. It had been raining and hailstones earlier, but after a while, it became sunny and the temperature rose. Wang Lan looked at the cliff that the car had flipped down. It was not very high, about 100 meters. Jia, stay in the car and wait for me. I'll climb up the same way and see if I can get a car. Brother, the cliff is so high. Song Jiao was actually afraid that Wang Lan would leave. In a dangerous situation, children needed an adult to provide them with a sense of security. It's okay. I'm sure it's high. Mr. Qin, please take care of Jia for me. Little brother, are you a Takashi Hoshi? The steady middle-aged man asked with a smile. Yes, but I'm too weak. Really? I didn't expect you to be a Takashi Hoshi. That's great. Takashi Hoshi were superhumans in the eyes of ordinary people. Their physical fitness and abilities were unimaginable to ordinary people. Having a Takashi Hoshi by their side could provide them with security. After leaving Song Jia in the care of these parents, Wang Lan rushed to the cliff and climbed up with his bare hands. Fortunately, this side of the cliff was not very smooth. The uneven mountain wall made it easier for Wang Lan to climb. Using both hands and feet, he quickly climbed up the cliff with physical strength that far exceeded that of ordinary people. Just as he was halfway up, a gust of wind blew past his eyes, and an even thicker fog suddenly rose above his head. Wang Lan touched the stones and climbed up the cliff bit by bit. Looking up at the sky from the bottom of the valley, the sun was shining brightly. However, even after climbing up the cliff, it was still pitch black. The weather in this place was too strange. Wang Lan had noticed that the hailstones falling from the sky were not the usual hailstones, but dry ice. When the hailstones fell on the glass, a thick fog would float out. But because it was raining, the fog disappeared in an instant. At this moment, the fog in front of him reminded Wang Lan of dry ice. Normal fog would not be as light as the one in front of him. In foggy weather, the fog was still in his perception. However, the thick fog in front of him was tumbling violently. He could even disperse the fog with a wave of his hand. Wang Lan found the ramp that the bus had taken, but because of the thick fog, Wang Lan couldn't figure out the direction and almost fell off the cliff again. With a crisp sound, Wang Lan stepped on a broken wooden tablet. Wang Lan picked up the wooden sign. There was an English name written on it in red paint. Wang Lan could only recognize the word town. English name? Could it be that we've transmigrated? Wang Lan was shocked. Had the bus accidentally entered a wormhole? In this world where alternate dimensions were frequently opened, space-time tunnels were not a rare thing. At the very least, there would be people who strayed into the space-time tunnel every year, mysteriously appearing hundreds or even tens of thousands of kilometers away. If they had entered the space-time tunnel by mistake, it would be normal for everyone's phones to have no signal. However, Mr. Chen's military phone didn't have a signal either. Moreover, it was a GPS call, which didn't make sense. Moreover, it was daytime now. The angle of the sun matched the time on the clock. Logically speaking, the difference in distance shouldn't be too big. Wang Lan found the place where the wooden sign was inserted. There was an arrow under the sign. This meant that there should be a town nearby. If he could find the town, he might be able to contact the outside world. Wang Lan moved forward in the direction of the sign. In order to prevent deviation, Wang Lan was almost touching Lu Yen. Suddenly, Wang Lan stopped in his tracks. In front of him was the cliff that he had just climbed up. If this sign was real, then was the town on the sign a cliff? Was it a prank or did something happen? Or, did the sign get destroyed because the town had moved away? It was definitely unwise to explore in such a thick fog. Not to mention the danger. Who knew when they would be able to walk out if they got lost? After hesitating for a long time, Wang Lan finally decided to go down and meet up with Mr. Chen and the others again. He would discuss with them what to do and make a decision. It was much faster to go down the cliff than to climb up. When he was about to reach the bottom of the cliff, Wang Lan looked up at the cliff. The fog was rolling around the cliff, but the sun was shining brightly in the sky. What a strange climate! He found the bus. The children were still sobbing, but there were only a few injured adults and Mr. Chen, who was the only one who knew how to drive a bus. "Brother!" Song Jia shouted in surprise. There were still tears in the corners of his eyes. "Little brother, did you find it?" "No, but I found a wooden sign." Wang Lan showed the wooden sign to Mr. Chen. "Creek Town? It's overseas?" Mr. Chen was also shocked. "Great, they didn't get to go to the Tianmu Lake Resort and teleported out of the country?" "Mr. Chen, do you know this town? There are at least 8,000 towns called Creek Town in the whole world. Who knows which one it is? Since it's overseas, it's normal that there's no signal. Also, I suspect that there's a magnetic field in this valley. That's why the satellite receiver in my phone is affected. Did you find the town?" "No, the visibility is still too low. I was afraid that the fog would come back first, so I wanted to discuss it with the others." "Where are they?" "They said they wanted to go ahead and see if they could get out of the valley. But it's been a long time." Speaking up to this point, Mr. Chen looked a little worried. "Chiu-sensei is leading the team?" "Yes. The whole valley is surrounded by fog. I'm worried that they'll risk going into the fog. It'll be dangerous if they can't get out. How about this, I'll go look for them." "Okay, thank you, little brother." "Brother, can you take me with you?" Song Jia quickly grabbed Wang Lan's clothes. "What if I lose you if I bring you along? I'm the one who brought you out. I was worried that I'd lose you. I promise I'll hold your hand the whole time." "Okay." Wang Lan couldn't stand Song Jia's begging eyes. This move could kill everyone in the family. His little cousin was so cute that he couldn't refuse. He led Wang Lan along the path that the parents had explored. Initially, he thought that the valley wouldn't be too big. However, after walking for half an hour, he saw a dense forest on both sides. In front of him was an endless gravel beach. The hot sun was burning the earth. Song Jia's face was red. Beads of sweat continuously dripped down from his cheeks as he stuck out his tongue to lick the corners of his mouth. Thirsty? Yeah, I forgot to bring my bag with me. I can't help it. Should we look for a water source? It's strange. Logically speaking, if the parents walked this far, they wouldn't want to walk anymore. They'd rather have Mr. Qin drive the bus here. Although the brakes are broken, it can still drive on the empty beach. Brother, there's a bottle of mineral water. Song Jia happily rushed over to pick up the mineral water. It hasn't been opened yet and it's fresh. It's drinkable. Wait, why is there a bottle of mineral water? Maybe one of the parents accidentally dropped it? On such a hot day, the parents wouldn't be willing to throw away an unopened bottle of mineral water. He looked around, but there was still no one. Brother, look, that seems to be Li Xiuxiu's mother. Song Jia's eyes were really too sharp. Following her finger, Wang Lan saw a woman in red. This woman should be one of the parents. Wang Lan had an impression of her. Hey! Wang Lan held Song Jia's hand and waved to the woman. The woman turned around and saw Wang Lan. She also waved to Wang Lan. Here, why did you run into the forest? Don't enter the forest in an unfamiliar place. Wang Lan came in front of the woman and asked curiously. We were tired from walking, so we took a rest at the edge of the forest. I went in to relieve myself, but when I came out, I couldn't find them. Little brother, did you see them? She shook her head. I came from the bus, so I didn't see anyone. How long were you separated from them? About 10 minutes. Song Jia suddenly jumped up. It turned out that a bloody ear was right beside her feet. The ear was very fresh, and so was the blood on it. Could it be that something happened to them? Just as this thought came to her mind, she suddenly felt a sense of danger behind her. Wang Lan didn't have time to think. Her body reacted instinctively. She leaned her body and kicked behind her. Just now, Li Xiuxiu's mother suddenly took out a fruit knife and attacked Wang Lan. And her speed was much faster than ordinary people. If Wang Lan's body movement skill had not reached bronze level 1, he might have been hit directly. What are you doing? Song Jia screamed. But in the next moment, Song Jia's face was filled with fear. The skin of the woman in front of her suddenly turned emerald green, and her eyes were like those of a lobster. Ah! At that moment, Song Jia was so scared that her face turned pale. She grabbed Wang Lan's arm tightly. Ghost, ghost! It's not a ghost, it's a demon. She broke free from Song Jia's hand and stared at the demon in front of her. And the worst thing was that Wang Lan didn't have a weapon in his hand. Strike first and gain the upper hand. Wang Lan's mind flickered and his figure instantly leaped forward. Although Wang Lan had only awakened as a Takashi Hoshi yesterday, the system gave him the startup funds. So, Wang Lan's basic skills were not worse than Takashi Hoshi of the same age. And Wang Lan had an advantage that his peers didn't have, which was 1-inch punch. 1-inch punch was a normal skill, and most Takashi Hoshi didn't want to learn it. In their opinion, Takashi Hoshi skills were enough. At most, they would learn basic fighting skills, basic knife skills, and so on. However, Takashi Hoshi skills required star power. Although 1-inch punch was a normal skill, it was able to produce the effect of Takashi Hoshi skills. It could be the trump card of a Takashi Hoshi because this skill didn't require star power. Wang Lan punched the opponent's head, and the opponent's fruit knife stabbed towards Wang Lan's throat. If he didn't go through the training to overcome his fear of death yesterday, this knife would have taken Wang Lan's life. So, Wang Lan was lucky. After overcoming his fear, there was no difference between a life-and-death battle and training. And Wang Lan had also put in a lot of effort in training to fight barehanded with weapons. The key to fighting barehanded with weapons was to be fast, accurate, and ruthless, and to catch the opponent off guard. Wang Lan changed his move instantly. He chopped the wrist of the demon holding the knife with his hand. The force came out of his palm, and the knife flew out of the demon's hand. Without the slightest hesitation, Wang Lan pressed forward again. 1-inch punch, boom! A punch hit the demon's chest, and there was a muffled sound. 3-fold punch, fingertips, knuckles, and fists were instantly thrown out. The demon's red dress was instantly torn into pieces, and it turned into butterflies fluttering in the air. At this time, the fruit knife that was sent flying fell from the sky. Wang Lan picked up the fruit knife at lightning speed. Before the demon could recover from Wang Lan's attack, the fruit knife stabbed into her throat. With a sideways move, the demon's throat was cut open, leaving a hideous wound. Chapter 10. Green blood gushed out. The demon clutched its throat and knelt on the ground unwillingly with its lobster-like eyes. First kill completed. Reward, 30 skill points. Reward, 50 experience points. The Destiny System's notification sounded in his mind. First kill. Wang Lan murmured. He grabbed Song Jia and ran out. Song Jia was silent along the way. Perhaps he was frightened by the demon's ferocious appearance. Suddenly, Song Jia raised his head and looked at Wang Lan. Brother, Jia, don't be afraid. I'll protect you. Was that the demons mentioned in the textbooks? Yes, demon. It should be low-level demons. There are many types of demons. Low-level demons usually have green blood with a fishy smell. The devil cultivator really looks scary. This kind of invader should be killed. Okay, I'll try my best. At the entrance of Duoluan Bilingual Academy, a bus drove slowly to the school gate. The school security guard walked out of the security room with a puzzled look. It's jammed. I've never encountered such a jam before. The driver opened the window and laughed. What are you doing here? The security guard asked curiously. Didn't you book a ride to Tianmu Lake? The bus left almost an hour ago and you're only here now? That's not right. Didn't the school book 2 buses? Are you sure it's our school? Look, this is the order information. My license plate number. You're the second bus? Then where did the second line that was driven away come from? Wait, I'll make a call to verify. At the Tianmu Lake Resort, Teacher Huang was also anxiously making a call. What's going on? I've already arrived. Why isn't there anyone? Their phones aren't in the service area. Could something have happened? The students of Duoluan Bilingual Academy were all rich and powerful. The school had always been cautious. Even if it was troublesome, they had to ensure the safety of the children. When the school leaders heard about it, they immediately checked but found that there was no information about the bus. This time, the school leaders were sweating profusely. They hurriedly reported to the Traffic Control Department to check the bus's whereabouts. This matter concerned the safety of more than 20 children and more than 20 rich and powerful parents. Of course, the Traffic Control Department would cooperate fully. But the strange thing was that after the bus left the congested road, it went straight to the ring road and disappeared on the road. Send the police cars to search for it. A bus can't have disappeared for no reason. Call the mayor, said the director with a serious face. There was no need for that, right? You don't need to inform the mayor, do you? Qin Weiman, the military advisor of the Southeast Military Command, is also on that bus. Moreover, the origin of this bus is suspicious. Our vehicle identification information is not recorded. I'm afraid that someone is deliberately targeting us. Something's going to happen. Chief, make the call. Heavenly Sword Bureau Headquarters. The phone on Wang Qianfeng's desk suddenly rang. It's me. Suddenly, Wang Qianfeng stood up. Chief. Yes, send someone to search immediately. After putting down the phone, Wang Qianfeng picked up another phone. Tell Su Shiyun to come to my office. He ran with Song Jia and soon saw the bus in front of them. At this moment, the bus had already started and seemed to be leaving. Hey wait, Wang Lan hurriedly called out. Although the car's brakes were broken, the bus had just started, so it quickly stopped. Little brother, didn't Chiyo-sensei say that you were at the entrance of the canyon? Mr. Qin asked as he opened the door to let Wang Lan in. After hearing this, Wang Lan frowned and quietly covered Song Jia's mouth. Where is Mr. Qin driving to? Student Song Jia, come to teacher's side. Hello, Wang Lan, I heard from Mr. Qin that you went to find us. After we passed through the forest, we found the exit of the canyon, but it was blocked by gravel. There was a road outside the exit. So we asked Mr. Qin to drive the car there first. After the gravel is cleared, we can leave this damn place, Chiyo-sensei said with a smile. After that, he waved at Song Jia. Jia, come here. Brother, the teacher is missing an ear. Song Jia buried her face in Wang Lan's chest and whispered. Damn, how did this girl's eyes grow? She could actually see that one of the ears hidden in her hair was missing? However, Song Jia's words made Wang Lan even more certain that there was something wrong with Chiyo-sensei. In other words, all the parents who went out to explore were probably dead by now. Kids, it's all done. Uncle is going to drive, Mr. Qin said with a smile. Wang Lan strode into the car as if he was looking for a seat. However, when he passed by Chiyo-sensei, the fruit knife hidden behind his back suddenly stabbed out and deeply stabbed into Chiyo-sensei's eye socket. Green blood gushed out. Wang Lan pulled out the fruit knife at lightning speed and stabbed Chiyo-sensei's other eye socket before she could react. Wang Lan was too fast and ruthless. The two stabs took less than 2 seconds. This scene scared the elementary school students so much that their minds went blank. Mr. Qin, who was driving, was also shocked by Wang Lan's sudden attack. However, his mind did not go blank. He immediately analyzed the situation. When he saw the green blood gushing out of Chiyo-sensei's mouth, his tense nerves relaxed slightly. Ah! You bastard! Chiyo-sensei suddenly let out a rough male voice. Wang Lan did not dare hesitate. He threw Chiyo-sensei to the ground and stabbed the fruit knife in his hand at Chiyo-sensei's head. Crack, with a crisp sound, the fruit knife broke, but the blade stayed in the demon's head. The demon fell to the ground and twitched. Its body was quickly changing shape. Open the door. The car door opened and Wang Lan threw the demon's body out. Why did you throw the body away? Mr. Qin asked in surprise. Can't I throw it away? Aren't you going to take out the soul orb? Wang Lan patted his head. He was so nervous that he had forgotten. The soul orb was a kind of pure orb produced in the brains of demons and beasts. It contained pure astral power. Takashi Hoshi could absorb the soul orb to replenish their astral power. They could also absorb astral power from the soul orb to increase their Takashi Hoshi's level. The soul orb was commonly known as the Takashi Hoshi's elixir. However, it could not be refined. It could only be obtained by hunting. Looks like my guess was right. Mr. Qin lit a cigarette and took a puff with a serious look. You don't mind, do you? I don't mind. Wang Lan was a little confused now. Although he killed decisively, that was because he was facing a crisis. Now that the crisis was over, Wang Lan's heart was in a mess. In the books, one could see a lot about the hatred between the human race and the demon race. The history books recorded many blood debt. However, when faced with a real war, how many people could face the war with demons calmly? How many of those who claimed to kill all the demons and take revenge would actually put their words into action when encountering the demons? How many of them would rush to the front line with swords and spears to fight the demons with all their might? Wang Lan was just a visitor from another world. In his opinion, the existence of demons was even more illogical than his time travel. My name is Qin Weiman. My name is Wang Lan. I'm the military advisor of the Southeast Military Region. I'm also a weapons researcher. When I found out that my phone signal was blocked, I guessed that we might have entered an alternate dimension. I didn't tell you the details to avoid panic. My phone's GPS is turned on 24/7. The southeast military region must have been alerted within an hour of losing the signal. By now, people outside might have started looking for us, so you don't have to worry too much. We're not alone. I heard that the alternate dimensions are filled with ferocious beasts. When the alternate dimensions are opened, the beasts will rush out and invade the human world. But why would there be demons? I didn't see any beasts either. This can only mean one thing. This alternate dimension isn't created by beasts, but by demons. The demons plan for us to enter the alternate dimension. As I said before, this car was reinforced. That's why we didn't die when we fell from the cliff. This was all arranged by the demons. I can roughly guess the demons' goal from Chio-sensei. They want to replace the people in this car. The demons were defeated 70 years ago. Are they going to invade again? Wang Lan's mood became even heavier. War was an unbearable burden, especially for Takashi Hoshi. They carried the entire legacy of human civilization on their shoulders. The scars from the previous tragic war had yet to fall off. The astronomical number of casualties was like a huge rock pressing down on Wang Lan, making it hard for him to breathe. You're a Takashi Hoshi, and you fell into the same predicament as me. It's fate. I can tell you that the history textbooks have glorified the war that started 200 years ago. Maybe we've defeated the demons before in human history, but the last time was definitely not the case. In fact, we've lost. We've lost our last resistance. Lost? If we lost, why weren't we ruled by the demons? Why were we still able to? Wang Lan couldn't believe it. Although he had a soul of 2 lives, he knew that many truths could be falsified, and he had to look at them rationally. However, he still couldn't believe that 70 years of rapid development and 70 years of peace were built on a defeat. Because the demons retreated at the last moment. Qin Weiman finished half of his cigarette in one breath. You should know how tragic the third demon's invasion was. The Jade State was the first country to abandon all prejudices and interests in order to protect human civilization. After that, 273 countries around the world announced that they would participate in the war with all their might. 132 years, more than a century, and 5 generations of resistance. Can you imagine a family where the father died in battle, the son went to the battlefield, the son died in battle, the grandson died in battle, the great-grandson died in battle, and the great-great-grandson died in battle? In that era of war, this was normal. The number of casualties in the Jade State during the third catastrophe was 120 million? This is the number of soldiers who died in battle, but if you want to know the number of casualties in the Jade State, you can add a 0 behind it. 1 billion. 130 years, 5 generations. What a heart-wrenching number. Can you understand the despair behind this number? Think about the host country. The host country's king said to the world in a hoarse voice that he would rather die than live in dishonor. Then, he ordered the detonation of 12 nuclear bombs buried in 7 cities on the mainland. 17 million people died together with the demon's army. King Katai killed himself by hitting the wall after the nuclear explosion. You've read about this in your history textbooks, right? While we praise the host country's integrity, have we ever thought about what kind of desperate situation could force them to make such a decision? Because the demons had successfully conquered the entire territory of the host country, they had amassed a large number of troops in the host country. Their vanguard was pointed directly at the Jade State. At that time, the Jade State had already run out of ammunition and food, so it was impossible for them to resist the demon's army. Chapter 11. At this point, both of their hearts felt heavy. Although what Qin Weiman said was very different from what was written in the history textbook, logically speaking, what Qin Weiman said might be true. Wang Lan was not the kind of teenager who could not accept reality. He would not deny the objective facts just to insist on his own ideas. After 130 years of war, the entire human race was at the end of their rope. However, the demon's army was still continuously sent over. Under such circumstances, They had only fought a desperate counterattack. Then, they decided the outcome of the war? The textbooks only used the idioms such as staking everything on a single throw, unity of will, and working together. However, could the gap in strength really be made up with these things? Wang Lan shook his head. Then why did the demons retreat? I don't know. They retreated very suddenly. Don't we have guns? We have missiles and nuclear bombs. Why did we lose so miserably? Guns have almost no effective damage to the demons' army. Other than the low-level demons, the high-level demons are not threatened by guns at all. Moreover, they have an endless army of mutated beasts. As for missiles and nuclear bombs, they can indeed be effective. However, missile technology and nuclear bomb technology only came into existence 80 years ago. At that time, human beings had already experienced 100 years of war. Resources were exhausted, and the population was on the verge of extinction. Hearing this, Wang Lan's eyes suddenly lit up. Then what about now? Our technology has advanced by leaps and bounds. Long-range weapons are everywhere. Can we easily defeat the demons now? Qin Weimin smiled faintly. I'm a weapons expert and also a military consultant. This is also one of my research topics. The soldiers of Jade State generally think the same as you, but the results of my research are no. Why? Weapons are not the key to victory or defeat. At least, it is not the only factor. After comparing the demons and us, the demons' individual combat ability and mobility are still not something we can compare to. If the demons' tactics are similar to ours or the tactics of ancient human warfare, we will definitely win. However, the demons are not. They will not set up a formation to fight us head-on. Demons were not the only demons. There were also mutated beasts. There were deep-sea types in the water, flying types in the sky, and crypt types, tank types, and mobile types on the ground. No matter how strong the weapon was, you had to hit the target first. At present, it is very difficult for us to use missiles to kill mosquitoes. Furthermore, demons could open up alternate dimensions and descend directly. What if the demons invaded and landed directly in a big city? There are tens of millions of people in the big cities. Do we still need to bombard them with missiles? Destroy the demons with a nuclear bomb? Wang Lan's chest suddenly felt a little stuffy. The military power in his previous life was about the same as in this life. Wang Lan believed that no one could defeat China, which had long-range missiles and long-range nuclear weapons. However, when the rules of war changed, some people could directly teleport to the mainland of Huaxia, even to the big cities, regardless of distance. What about China? Do long-range missiles and nuclear bombs still have any deterrence? With this analogy, Wang Lan found that he could not use his advantages, but he could not avoid his disadvantages. Then what should we do? Fight. What else could he do? Even if we have to fight to the last man, we have to fight. Human civilization began to rise 5,000 years ago. Under the threat of the demons, we stubbornly survived until today. Our ancestors were able to pass down their civilization even in an era when technology was lacking. We can do the same. Pass down our civilization and protect humanity. This is the mission of our generation as soldiers, and also the mission of you Takashi Hoshi. Human civilization is a huge machine. We Takashi Hoshi are the armor on the machine. Everyone is a part of the machine. The existence of Takashi Hoshi is to protect this machine from harm. Wang Lan silently recited the Takashi Hoshi's declaration in a low voice. It was also the belief of the Takashi Hoshi. Demons! Demons! Suddenly, the children in the bus screamed excitedly. Wang Lan followed their gazes, and a terrifying scene appeared in front of him. A humanoid creature with a green head suddenly appeared from the depths of the forest. The back of its head and its back were connected. It was more than 2 meters tall, and its legs were bent backward. It was certain that this monster had a strong jumping ability. His ferocious face had a mouth as sharp as a lamprey's. Sharp spikes protruded from his fingertips. Just by looking at his appearance, one could tell that he was a warrior who was born for battle. Warriors of demons! Hurry up and drive! Wang Lan's expression changed drastically. As soon as Wang Lan finished her words, the bus roared and rushed forward at high speed. It rushed out of the hillside and into the gravel plain. The warriors of demons behind it immediately chased after the bus. They chased after the bus by jumping and running. Their speed was comparable to that of a cheetah. The bus didn't have a brake system, so Qin Weiman could only use his superb driving skills to control the balance of the bus. It was impossible for the bus to drive fast on the ground that was filled with sparkling gravel. The bus was moving at 80 kilometers per hour on the gravel, and the strong vibration almost made Wang Lan throw up the food he ate last night. The children in the bus didn't have it so good, and a few of them directly vomited. Suddenly, a sour smell came from the bus, and caused a lot of vomiting. The situation in front of him made Wang Lan's heart tighten. He couldn't think of anything else, and the only one who could protect the children in the bus was Wang Lan. He called out the system, and there were still 70 skill points left. He frantically added them to Inch Punch. Bronze level 5. Bronze level 6. Bronze level 8. Bronze level 9. There were still 10 skill points left, and it was just enough to reach silver level. However, after adding 9 skill points, he couldn't add the last skill point. Damn it, why was it so close? Maybe it had something to do with Wang Lan's level, but this was only Wang Lan's guess. If skill levels weren't limited by the character's level, then could a person with star rank 1 have silver, gold, or even platinum skills? Therefore, Wang Lan could only guess that the reason why he couldn't upgrade Inch Punch to silver level was because of the heavenly body tier. From another point of view, the heavenly body tier had reached the peak of bronze level 9, which meant that Wang Lan's Inch Punch should be the highest level that a heavenly body tier could reach. As for how strong it was, Wang Lan couldn't estimate it. Wang Lan, have you shaken them off? Qin Weiman suddenly shouted anxiously. Not yet, but maintain this speed, they won't be able to catch up. No way. Why not? Out of gas? There's a dead canyon in front, and there's no road. What? Wang Lan turned around and saw that the gravel beach was getting narrower and narrower. There were cliffs on both sides, and the direction that the bus was heading towards was actually a cliff. In other words, the bus had entered a narrow pocket. Brake, stop. The brakes are broken, we can't stop. Boom! A violent crash was heard, and the bus crashed straight into the cliff. In an instant, the sound of children wailing like ghosts and howling like wolves could be heard. These children were the treasures of their parents, and they had never experienced such danger before. Mr. Qin, how are you? My arm is injured, and it might be dislocated. I'm fine. Open the door. What are you going to do? I'll guard the entrance of the canyon and try to buy as much time as possible. Whether we can survive or not depends on when the rescue team arrives. Qin Weiman looked deeply at Wang Lan. Brother, take care. Wang Lan jumped off the bus and went to the back of the bus. The canyon was like the back gate of a football field, and Wang Lan had to guard the entrance. He couldn't let a single demon warrior get in, not even one. Brother, come on, what are you going to do? I brought you here, and you said you'd listen to me. Song Jia's cries came from the bus. Jia, let me tell you a piece of good news. I've awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent, and from now on, please call me Takashi Hoshi Warrior. Don't worry, I'll protect you. Roar, roar, roars came one after another from afar, and there were not as many demons warriors chasing after them at first, but there were still 9 of them. 9 demons warriors, and it was really difficult for someone who had just awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent yesterday to face them. The demons warriors slowed down as they approached Wang Lan, and their bright red eyes stared at Wang Lan. Although they slowed down, the murderous aura on their bodies became more and more intense. Fear spread from the bottom of Wang Lan's heart, and his heart started to beat violently. Suddenly, as if it had reached a critical point, Wang Lan's tense muscles suddenly relaxed. Wang Lan seemed to have entered an ethereal state. Some people, under the horror of a desperate situation, would be scared stiff. Some people, under the horror of a desperate situation, would erupt with terrifying potential. And Wang Lan happened to be the second kind. When the fear reached a critical point and broke through the threshold, Wang Lan's body instantly entered an extremely calm and active state. And also at this moment, a demon dweller suddenly jumped high, and the spikes in its hand pierced towards Wang Lan's face. Wang Lan seemed to have been scared silly, and he did not move. The demon dweller opposite him showed a trace of disdain and cruelty. But at that moment Wang Lan suddenly swayed slightly, and at the same time, he fiercely punched towards the demon dweller's chest. While dodging, he was also attacking, and the timing and speed had reached a perfect balance. The bronze level 9-inch punch instantly exploded, and the terrifying fist force coupled with the impact of the demon dweller descending from the sky, almost instantly, the demon dweller's chest caved in. And suddenly, the demon dweller's back made a loud noise, and a huge hole appeared on its back. Its internal organs were like squeezed pimples, splattering out. The green fresh blood emitted a strong stench, and the few demon dwellers who were about to rush forward stopped in their tracks, their bright red eyes staring straight at Wang Lan. Killed low-level demon soldier, skill point +1, experience +10. Buzz. A warm current flowed through Wang Lan's body, and his experience was successfully filled. Wang Lan also instantly leveled up to star level 2. Character leveling up, the most direct reflection was the strengthening of the body. Although this kind of strengthening was almost negligible compared to the time when he changed from a normal person to a Takashi Hoshi. But even if it was just a little stronger, it was still a little more hope of survival. Wang Lan gently bent down, grabbed the spikes on the demon dweller's arm, and used force to break it. Holding it in his hand was still passable. Roar! Accompanied by the roar of a demon dweller behind him, 2 demon dweller warriors once again approached step by step. Chapter 12. The 2 demon warriors attacked from the left and right. Their intentions were obvious. They wanted to pincer him. If they used normal tactics, Wang Lan, a heavenly body tier Takashi Hoshi, wouldn't be able to survive such a pincer attack. At this moment, Wang Lan was already prepared to die. A newly awakened Takashi Hoshi had fallen into the trap of demons. He had to face a group of demon warriors and protect a car full of 25 children. If it was anyone else in Wang Lan's situation, they wouldn't be able to survive. I'm a transmigrator. My legendary life hasn't even started yet. How can I become a crate at the beginning? I don't have time to think about it in this situation. Since I'm going to die anyway, I might as well drag someone down with me. As he thought about this, the 2 demon warriors attacked from the front and back. Wang Lan's advantage was that although he was a newly awakened Takashi Hoshi, he had been training hard all these years. His combat skills weren't left behind by his peers. His close combat skills were even better than Star Blazing's. Wang Lan was still very strong when it came to Takashi Hoshi. The low-level demon warriors didn't have the talent for Takashi Hoshi, so this narrowed the gap between the two. The demon warrior in front of him restrained Wang Lan, and the demon warrior behind him killed him in one blow. This kind of combat coordination was already deeply ingrained in their bones. So when the demon warrior in front stabbed at Wang Lan, the demon warrior behind suddenly accelerated and stabbed at him. Wang Lan's body moved instantly. He used his bronze-grade body movement technique and dodged the demon warrior's stab faster than him. He punched at the demon warrior's chest. Boom! The terrifying hidden force of the 1-inch punch exploded in the demon warrior's body. Wang Lan didn't dare hesitate. The demon warrior's stab at his side had already pierced Wang Lan's shoulder. Wang Lan instantly spun half a circle on the spot. The nail on his left hand turned into a cold light and pierced into the sneak attacker's eye socket. It directly pierced through the eye socket and came out from the back of the head. This exchange only lasted for 5 seconds, and Wang Lan's arm was dripping with blood. He had used one arm in exchange for 2 demons being killed on the spot. In a short period of time, the 3 Devil Cultivator warriors had taken their lunches. The remaining 6 Devil Dwellers began to re-evaluate Wang Lan. In terms of strength estimation, Wang Lan's strength should be at the bottom of the Takashi Hoshi's. But how could a Takashi Hoshi kill 3 demon warriors in such a short time? Have we demons regressed over the years, or have the humans grown so fast over the years? In the bus, Song Jiao was crying so hard that he couldn't even open his eyes. Especially when he saw the blood flowing down Wang Lan's arm like a stream. He closed his eyes and didn't dare to look. In the bus, Qin Weimin stared at Wang Lan with red eyes. He tightly clenched his teeth, and the veins on his forehead bulged. In those 2 exchanges, Wang Lan had done beautifully. Really beautifully. In terms of strength, Wang Lan could barely deal with one of the demons. But in just a few seconds, Wang Lan had killed 3 Devil Cultivators at lightning speed. This was a result that far exceeded what Wang Lan could achieve. If not for the desperate situation, if not for the fact that Wang Lan had to face so many Devil Dwellers alone, Qin Weimin felt as if he saw a seedling that could grow into a towering tree in the future. Moreover, Wang Lan's slender and straight back made Qin Weimin's mind constantly recall the faces buried deep in his memory. "Commissioner Qin, don't worry, I will definitely bring you back. Commissioner Qin, go that way, keep going, don't stop. After 20 kilometers there will be someone to pick you up. I'm sorry, I misspoke. My brothers have been glorious, now it's my turn. This medal, please give it to my parents for me. Tell them that I didn't disgrace old Nyo's family." That time, Qin Weimin was ambushed by international mercenaries and was forced to land outside the borders of Jade State. An escort team, without enough ammunition, safely escorted Qin Weimin back to his country under the pursuit of several times the number of mercenaries. As for the escort team, not even their corpses were able to return to their beloved homeland. At that time, those people were so similar to the young man in front of him. Wang Lan's arm was injured, and he couldn't make such a beautiful counterattack like before. Maybe in the next second, he would disappear like a blooming firework. Wang Lan, another 2 demon soldiers, suddenly rushed towards Wang Lan. This time, the 2 demon soldiers didn't separate to attack Wang Lan from the front and back. Wang Lan had already lost an arm, and to the demon soldiers, it was impossible for him to kill them with such an injury. A heavenly body tier Takashi Hoshi had actually killed 3 of their demons. The demon soldiers had already thought about it, and would definitely eat this damned human bit by bit like eating spicy strip. 2 spikes instantly pierced Wang Lan's vital parts, and in the next second, Wang Lan would be pierced by them like a tonghulu. But in the next moment, Wang Lan's body disappeared. Just as the demon soldiers were puzzled, a sharp pain suddenly came from their lower abdomen. Wang Lan's body was actually half-squatting, and his half-squatting body was actually able to dodge the attack so nimbly. Then, from the bottom up, he punched the 2 demon soldiers' lower abdomen. Boom! Impossible! The demon soldier's eyes were bloodshot, and his face was full of shock. His arm was clearly crippled, and the spike had clearly pierced Wang Lan's shoulder. His shoulder was pierced, and his fist couldn't have succeeded. But how was he still able to use such a punch? And at the same time with both hands? Sitting in the car, Qin Weimin's eyes were also wide open, and his face was full of disbelief. He was a weapons expert, and at the same time, an expert in the structure of the human body. Only with a clear understanding of the human body could he design a powerful weapon suitable for human use. Especially now that he was researching the exoskeleton armor, he had to fully understand the movement of the human body's muscles. Wang Lan's shoulder was pierced, and in his opinion, it was impossible for him to raise his arm, let alone punch. However, the scene before Qin Weiman's eyes told him that not only had Wang Lan launched a punch, but he had also caught the two demons off guard and instantly killed them. In the next moment, Qin Weiman's eyes lit up again because he had already seen that although Wang Lan's arm was dripping with blood, the blood was no longer flowing, and the originally hideous wound was no longer there. There were no scars at all. Medical Takashi Hoshi? In an instant, this thought flashed through Qin Weiman's mind like lightning. Not only was he a genius Takashi Hoshi with awareness, but he was also an extremely rare medical Takashi Hoshi? Damn it, why did I have to let such a precious treasure fall into such a desperate situation? If Wang Lan could survive, his value would be much greater than mine. At this moment, Qin Weiman wished he could be in his place. Roar! Angry roars resounded. The remaining 4 devil cultivators were furious. A low-level human had actually killed 5 of them. 5 of them. Moreover, it was not the 5 demons who had launched a sneak attack, but the 5 demons who had been killed in a direct confrontation. If the human in front of them was a powerful warrior, they would have tolerated it, but it turned out that he was a despicable low-level warrior. The demons were enraged, and the 4 shameless demons charged towards Wang Lan at the same time. Shame? The demons did not need such a thing. The 4 demons charged towards Wang Lan at the same time, and the previous sneak attack tactic could no longer be effective. However, no matter what, even if they were to die, they could still drag one of them down with them. Wang Lan's eyes flashed with a murderous light, and every demon was a target to be dragged down with him. You're the one. Who asked you to rush to the front? In an instant, Wang Lan moved, and with a karate chop, he split open the armor of a demon and punched the demon's chest hard. Boom! Pfft. Another demon's armor pierced Wang Lan's back at the same time. The piercing pain did not cause Wang Lan to despair, but instead stimulated Wang Lan's crazy genes. With a twist of his body, he used his muscles to break the armor, and with a punch, the demon's head exploded. Pft, pft. 2 demons' armor pierced Wang Lan's chest by more than an inch. Fresh blood gushed out from his chest, and his entire chest was bathed in the warm sun. Kill! Wang Lan's eyes were bloodshot and he roared. This roar actually scared the 2 demon warriors into a daze for a moment. How could Wang Lan let go of such a rare opportunity? He instantly threw out 2 punches. Using his resentment and potential, he killed the 2 demon warriors on the spot. 9 demon soldiers had actually been killed by a star martial artist in the early stage of the heavenly body tier. If this were to be spread, no one would dare believe it. But such a thing happened right in front of Qin Weiman's eyes. At this moment, Qin Weiman did not care about the danger. He jumped down from the car and rushed to Wang Lan's side. "Brother, how are you?" Wang Lan's legs were weak, and he suddenly leaned on Qin Weiman and collapsed. 2 wounds on his chest and 1 on his back were fatal to other Takashi Hoshi, but not to Wang Lan. He was a man who had the ability to heal Takashi Hoshi. Unfortunately, he had too little mana, and just as he was able to stabilize the fatal injuries, his mana bar was empty. Soul Orb. Soul. Qin Weiman understood that for Takashi Hoshi, soul orbs were life-saving pills. However, he did not have a knife in his hand, and could not cut open the head of the demon beast to retrieve the soul orb. What was even more frightening was that there were still 3 devil warriors who had arrived. They had been frightened by Wang Lan's slaughter, but now that Wang Lan had fallen, the devil warriors were slowly approaching. Qin Weiman picked up a stone beside him and blocked in front of Wang Lan. He looked as if he had a brick in his hand and the world was his. "Brother, this time let me buy you some time. You have the medical Takashi Hoshi, so get well quickly. I may not be able to buy you much time." At this moment Wang Lan only wanted to say, "What are you talking about? Giving me a few soul orbs is real." Just as this thought formed in his mind, 3 soul orbs suddenly fell in front of Wang Lan and rolled into Wang Lan's hand. Ugh! Did he make a wish to the dragon god? Wang Lan looked up in confusion. In the sky, A woman wearing a tactical vest and a white mask appeared mysteriously, floating quietly above Wang Lan's head. Wind blade net. Accompanied by a voice that sounded like the judgment of heaven and earth, a tornado was spat out from her mouth. The tornado was accompanied by crescent-shaped wind blades, and it instantly rushed towards the three demon warriors. The tornado passed by, and the gravel under their feet turned into yellow sand. At the place where the three demon warriors were originally standing, there were only 3 soul orbs left. What are you waiting for? Do you want to die? The person in the sky saw that Wang Lan was still in a daze and shouted in a low voice. How do I absorb the soul orbs? Wang Lan actually asked a question that almost made the person fall from the sky. Chapter 13. You're the first person I've met who doesn't know how to absorb a soul orb. Are you really a star martial artist? The other party was a woman. She had long, elegant hair, and her voice sounded very young. Although he couldn't see her face because of the mask, Wang Lan guessed that she must be a handsome female warrior. I just awakened yesterday. It's normal that I don't know. But you don't look like a 13-year-old. Hold the soul orb in your hand and feel the star power inside. Try to use it. Wang Lan followed the woman's instructions. It was very easy. Like sucking on jelly, the star power in the soul orb was sucked into his body. The pure star power was instantly assimilated by Wang Lan's star power. Skill point +1. Wang Lan didn't expect the soul orb to provide skill points other than star power. So, the system wants me to kill demons or beasts in the future. With the star power, the self-healing skill was activated again. Heavenly Sword Bureau Action Division 1st Brigade 3rd Squad Starry Night Team Leader Xing Xiaoma greets Councilman Qin. Councilman Qin, are you okay? Luckily, I have this little brother. I'm fine. But there should be a lot of demons in the secret territory. You have to be careful. Don't worry. None of the demons in the secret territory will survive. Xing Xiaoma's tone was light, but the domineering tone in her words was undeniable. A woman's pretense was much more pleasing to the eye than a man's. His mind suddenly vibrated. Mission guard completed. Reward: 1,000 experience points, 100 skill points. The moment the notification sounded, Wang Lan felt a warm current flowing through his body. He could clearly feel the increase in his strength. He quickly entered the system and glanced at it. He actually leveled up twice and reached star rank 4. Wang Lan didn't know how long it would take for a first-time awakener to reach star rank 4. Only he had such a clear division of star rank. However, Wang Lan knew that most of the third-year high school graduates in the Takashi Hoshi campus were still in the heavenly body tier. Only the top 1/3 of them could reach the strength of star blazing before they graduated. On the other hand, he had risen to star rank 4 in just one day. If he had a few more experiences like this, would he be able to catch up with his classmates before school started? Thinking of this, Wang Lan suddenly felt a little scared. Yes, a genius to such an extent that even he was afraid of himself. Even at this moment, Wang Lan actually thought of a saying, "This kid is too monstrous. He can't be allowed to live." He shuddered. Suddenly, he felt a pair of eyes staring at him. He looked up and saw Xing Xiaoma looking at him curiously. "Miss Xing, is there a problem? You just made a breakthrough." Xing Xiaoma's pearl-like eyes stared into Wang Lan's eyes. "You only absorbed 3 soul orbs and broke through from the early stage of star rank to the middle stage of star rank?" "I haven't reached the middle stage yet," Wang Lan hurriedly denied, not lying. "Isn't the middle stage 5? A difference of 1 level is still a difference, I'm not lying." "What are you afraid of?" Xing Xiaoma coldly snorted. "I didn't see you being afraid when you were fighting 9 demons by yourself. Now you know how to be afraid?" "I didn't have time to care at that time." Wang Lan pointed at the demons' corpses on the ground. "These are the demons' warriors? These are the things that invaded us? They are indeed very strong. They are the lowest level biosoldiers, not real demons warriors. They are cannon fodder that can be mass-produced, just like the guns we make. Real demons warriors without star blazing, they will die. So, your luck is not bad. That's true. It is indeed a miracle that I survived. Wang Lan didn't want to say more and hurriedly ran back to the bus. The children's crying had stopped. Song Jia tightly hugged his arm and looked for the wound, but found that there was nothing where his eye should have been. His face was filled with a dazed expression. Jia Jia, your brother awakened Takashi Hoshi's innate skill, immortal body. Isn't that awesome? Really? Song Jia was still young and easy to fool. Although he was usually very clever, when faced with real situations, he would believe whatever others said. Of course. Wang Lan patted Song Jia's head. I didn't expect you to like me so much. When I was about to be beaten to death, your cries were so unpleasant. That's not true. I brought you out, so I have to bring you back. If I lose you, Mom will kill me. You're so annoying. Don't tease me about this in the future, or else I will bite you. All right. Jia Jia. Yeah. Why are you pinching me? To see if the immortal body is real. Don't pinch me, it will hurt. Wang Lan kept looking behind the bus. Qin Weimin was telling Xing Xiaoma about the incident. Suddenly, a few figures appeared in the distance. They were running at an extremely fast speed. Although it seemed like there were only 20 of them, they gave off the feeling of an army of thousands of people. Moreover, each of them was wearing a mask, and their bodies were covered with green blood stains. Is it all settled? It's all settled. We found 7 or 8 survivors in the canyon opposite the forest. They were lucky, hiding in a cave and escaped. A man said to Xing Xiaoma. Soon, 7 or 8 parents were brought over by a few people from the Heavenly Sword Bureau. Mom, Uncle, in the bus a few children shouted excitedly. But Wang Lan's eyes suddenly darkened. He quickly stood up and jumped off the bus. Brother, don't worry, I'll be back soon. Wang Lan jumped off the bus and strode to Qin Weimin's side. Wang Lan, what's wrong? Seeing Wang Lan's serious expression, Qin Weimin asked nervously. There might be something wrong with those people. Do you remember Chio-sensei? Qin Weimin's expression changed as he whispered to Xing Xiaoma and the other man. The two of them nodded and walked towards the 8 parents who were rushing over. Pull up the curtains on the bus. Don't let the children see. It will be too much of a shock to them. I'm afraid it will cause psychological damage. Qin Weimin quickly ordered. Wang Lan watched as Xing Xiaoma and the others brought the parents to a more secluded area. After a few seconds, there was an intense battle sound. But after a while, the 2 people returned with serious expressions. I'm afraid the demon's goal is to insert spies into the human race. This sentence was very heavy. Everyone could imagine that the demon race had already begun to move, and a new war might have already begun, but no one said the word war. Are the children okay? 25 children are fine. There were 50 people on the bus. 18 parents were killed, 5 parents were injured, and they couldn't leave the bus. Among the adults, only Wang Lan and I are fine. This debt of blood will be paid back by the demons sooner or later. Mr. Qin, let's go. Can the bus still operate? No. Everyone carry a child. Let's go. Song Jia was carried on Wang Lan's back. Wang Lan followed the soldiers of the Heavenly Sword Bureau and ran. The space was distorted and could collapse at any time. They had to get out before the space collapsed. The children cried for their mother and father. In their young hearts, they never thought or dared to think that their parents might never come back. Wang Lan pitied the children, but there was nothing he could do. This was the chaos of war. It was better to be a dog in peace than a man in chaos. With the help of the Heavenly Sword Bureau, Wang Lan and the others successfully escaped from the space and returned to the ring road. There were 7 or 8 military vehicles parked on the side of the road. They got into the vehicles and drove back quickly. At this moment, Wang Lan's heart finally calmed down. He had awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent yesterday, and today he encountered such an exciting event. Although the world of Takashi Hoshi was never short of thrills and death, it came too quickly. In the car, Song Jia fell asleep in Wang Lan's arms. Wang Lan looked at the rapidly retreating shadows outside the window and slowly closed his eyes to rest. The sound of the brakes woke Wang Lan from his daze. Where are we? The military hospital. Everyone is to arrange for treatment. The demons don't just kill people. They have many tricks up their sleeves that we can't imagine. Xing Xiaoma said calmly. A series of blood tests, ultrasounds, CT scans, X-rays and so on took more than an hour. Wang Lan was arranged to be questioned by the Heavenly Sword Bureau in a separate ward. Although Qin Weiman had already described the process, Wang Lan repeated it again. We were only told that we could leave at 4:30 in the afternoon. I'm hungry. On the way back, Song Jia suddenly said while holding his stomach. I haven't eaten anything since breakfast this morning. I'm hungry too. Tell me, what do you want to eat? Song Jia pointed at the barbecue restaurant in front of us. Okay. I want to eat 2 steaks. No, I want 10 steaks. The meal cost 1,000 yuan. Other than the 10 steaks, he ordered all the other dishes as if they were free. However, such a crazy amount of food did not scare the well-trained waiters. Takashi Hoshi could eat an entire cow in one meal. Therefore, they were used to serving customers like Wang Lan. It was also because of the existence of Takashi Hoshi that the food and beverage industry in this world had always been the most profitable industry. Even if it was a noodle restaurant, as long as the boss did not make a strategic mistake, it would definitely be profitable. After sending Song Jia home, Wang Lan originally wanted to go back. However, Song Jia was scared, so Wang Lan agreed to stay with her. The two of them finished showering and played games in front of the TV in their pajamas. Before they knew it, the sky had turned dark. Why isn't Mama Feng back to cook? Did you forget that you were supposed to go to Tianmu Lake for 2 days? There's no one at home. Mama Feng should have gone home. She'll only be back tomorrow afternoon. Why? Are you hungry again? Today's steak was delicious. This is the first time I felt that steak was so delicious. You should be hungry. If you don't go hungry, you won't be able to cure your problem of being picky. People who have never been hungry will not understand how blissful it is to be able to fill your stomach. You're talking as if you've been hungry before. Song Jia was revived. Not only did she start to talk back, she even started to give him poached eggs. I've been hungry before. Wang Lan smiled. In his previous life, when he went out to work, the money he brought was stolen. He only had 200 yuan left. He relied on the 200 yuan to survive for a month. The days of hunger only ended when he received his first month's salary. Wang Lan's phone suddenly vibrated. He stood up and answered the call. Hello, Auntie. You're back? Where are you? I'm looking for you in the hospital. I'm not at the hospital. I'm home. Wait for me at home. Don't run around. Auntie hung up. Chapter 14. In less than half an hour, Auntie's door opened. Little Aunt walked into the house, covered in dust. She looked around the living room in a panic. When she saw that the 2 children were there, her face relaxed. Mom, Song Jia quickly threw away the remote control and hugged Wang Qi. Mom, I missed you so much. Mom, you almost lost me today. If it weren't for Wang Lan, all of us in the bus would have died. Wang Lan is the knight who saved me, so I didn't quarrel with her today. The corners of Wang Lan's mouth twitched as she sat on the sofa. On the bus, she felt really comfortable calling him brother. However, less than 2 hours after they got home, she started calling him Wang Lan again. This woman shouldn't have been so nice to him. Let me see if you're okay. When I received the call in Seoul, I was scared out of my wit. After I got off the plane, I called and found out that you were at the military hospital, so I hurried over. I didn't expect you two to have gone home. It's good that you're okay. Wang Qi, who had always been a strong woman, was really scared. These 2 children were her only family in the world. She didn't know what to do if something happened to them. Watch TV for a while. I'll talk to your brother. Wang Qi hugged Wang Lan tightly and kissed him twice. She stood up and waved at Wang Lan. Lan Lan, come here. Wang Lan walked over obediently and followed Wang Qi to the balcony. Auntie! When did you awaken? Wang Qi stared at Wang Lan seriously. Why didn't you tell me about such a big thing? I just awakened yesterday. Yesterday? How did you awaken? Tell me in detail. Wang Qi's eyes lit up. In addition to being Song Jia's mother and Wang Lan's auntie, she was also the president of Jiai Biotechnology Company and the top genetic biologist in Jade State. It's just that the final exam results were released yesterday. I scored 460 points and ranked first in the city. I was so happy and excited that I was awakened. If word of this got out, countless parents would probably beat their children to death with whip. Listen, if you did well in the exam, you could awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent just because you were excited? Sleep with a C***NT and play with a ball? Get up and study all night. Then, thousands of students gathered together to kill the god of learning as a sacrifice to the heavens. This kind of beast should not be allowed to live. TSK, tisk. Auntie looked Wang Lan up and down playfully. Even soul resonance couldn't awaken your Takashi Hoshi talent. How could you awaken your Takashi Hoshi talent after an exam? Now, I'm wondering if there's a flaw in the soul resonance technology or if there's something special about you. His aunt's gaze was very scary, especially when she stuck out her tongue to lick the corner of her mouth. It made Wang Lan have the urge to turn around and run. This is Orochimaru. Auntie. I think I'm normal. Don't think what you think I think. Auntie's biological genetic coding has encountered some problems. Auntie, I suddenly remembered that I have something to do at home. I'll go back first. Goodbye. Stop. Stay here tonight. Auntie shouted in an unquestionable tone. Then I'll go play with Jia Jia. Wang Lan smiled and turned around to leave. You awakened because you did well in the exam? Who are you trying to fool? Since you were in the first grade, when have you ever done badly in an exam? You've always gotten full marks or first place and you're still excited? You'll only be excited if you fail the exam? Wang Qi crossed her arms and said without caring if Wang Lan heard her. Mother Feng had returned to the countryside. Wang Qi did not know how to cook, but fortunately there was something called takeout in the world. Wang Qi directly ordered a dozen dishes from a local restaurant and delivered them to her door. Wang Lan awakened the Takashi Hoshi, and she knew how much a Takashi Hoshi ate. When she was still a child, her sister, Wang Ling, acted in front of Wang Qi by eating a pig in 3 mouthfuls. Wang Qi was so scared that she did not dare to sleep in the same bed as Wang Ling for half a month. She was afraid that she would wake up in the middle of the night and see a pair of green eyes that would eat her up in 3 mouthfuls. Wang Qi's eyes dimmed when she thought of her sister, Wang Ling. She thought that it was a normal life back then, but now it could only be seen in her memories. After dinner and a shower, Wang Lan returned to his room and looked up the process of applying for a Takashi Hoshi certificate online. Every Takashi Hoshi had to apply for a Takashi Hoshi ID card independently, and the previous ID card would be cancelled. Lan Lan, come here for a moment. Wang Qi, who was wearing light silk pajamas, knocked on Wang Lan's door. Wang Lan stood up, opened the door, and followed Wang Qi. Auntie had also just finished showering, and her hair was still wet. Wang Qi, who was almost 40 years old, did not show any signs of aging. She was beautiful and mature at the same time. Wang Lan had the memories and soul of 2 lives, so he naturally knew how to appreciate her. But appreciation was just appreciation. The only thing he was curious about was why Auntie did not find another boyfriend after so many years. The 2 of them went to the balcony and looked at the city lights in the distance. Neither of them said a word. Wang Qi in this position was especially seductive. Wang Lan could only look away. How long has my sister been gone? Wang Qi suddenly asked. 7 years and 8 months. Wang Lan did not even think for a second before answering. It's been almost 8 years. You were only this tall back then. Auntie gestured to her height and smiled. You have more worries than an adult. You didn't even make a fuss about such a big thing. If I didn't hear your cries at night, I would have thought that you were a heartless person. I wanted to cry too, but my mom said that crying is a sign of weakness. She didn't want to raise a useless person in the family. My sister might still be alive. Wang Qi suddenly turned to look at Wang Lan and said. But what surprised her was that Wang Lan did not have any other expression on his face. He only had a smile on his face. Wang Qi could read the meaning of this smile. Just as I thought. You already knew? Wang Qi asked in a low voice. Auntie, I am a man who is called the god of studying by hundreds of thousands of primary school students. Please don't doubt my IQ, okay? If my mom really died during a mission, why did you have to wait until after I graduated from junior high school to tell me whether my mom is alive or dead? Before graduating from junior high school, there will be a soul resonance ceremony. So you must have told me 2 answers. As for which one you told me, it depends on whether I can awaken the Takashi Hoshi talent or not. Since you told me that my mom died during a mission, then the other answer is that she is still alive, right? What a smart kid. Wang Qi sighed. But I am not sure if my sister is still alive or not. She just went missing for almost 8 years. Everything about my sister is highly confidential. Even I can't ask about it. So, I can only leave her whereabouts to you. Now that you have become a Takashi Hoshi, you have the possibility to come into contact with these secrets. I only know that my sister went on a very important mission and never came back. Yes, I will. Wang Lan nodded and said. Do you know anything about my sister? Wang Qi suddenly smiled and asked. What do you mean? She is my mother. How can I not know her? You know that my sister is a Takashi Hoshi. Then do you know what level of Takashi Hoshi she is? This. Wang Lan shook his head. He really did not know. His mother was very strict with her things. She never allowed Wang Lan to go through her things. Moreover, she never brought anything related to work home. Including her Takashi Hoshi ID, her work ID, and even her combat uniform, she never brought them home. Every time Wang Ling came home, she would dress up like a working woman in the city. She would be out on missions for at least 200 days out of 365 days a year. The only thing he knew was that his mother was very fierce and had a very strong character. Among the Takashi Hoshi in Jade State, the top Takashi Hoshi have titles. Among these Takashi Hoshi, the 5 elders and 5 emperors are the most famous. They are also the pillars of Jade State's international status. You should know about the 5 elders. They are the 5 Takashi Hoshi elders with great prestige. Their influence can change the structure of Takashi Hoshi in the entire Jade State. The 5 emperors are the top 5 people in Jade State. They are the Eastern Green Emperor, the Southern Yen Emperor, the Western White Emperor, the Northern Ming Emperor, and the Central Black Emperor. Your mother, my sister, Wang Ling, is known as the Southern Yen Emperor. Wang Lan's pupils violently contracted. A stunned expression finally appeared on his indifferent face. The top people in Jade State. The top people, Wang Lan couldn't believe it even if he was beaten to death. Wang Ling was only 30 years old when she went missing. Although the peak age of Takashi Hoshi was between 30 and 40 years old, Wang Lan still couldn't believe that his mother was the strongest Takashi Hoshi in Jade State. She was a woman, an ordinary woman. She had no family, no resources, no connections, and no bloodline talent. How could she reach such a height at such a young age? This was simply impossible in Wang Lan's mind. The experience of his 2 lives told him that this was not the time when the war had just passed. There were so many blank areas for people to rise up. The social structure was highly compact, and the wealth and resources were highly concentrated. There were no poor people in the upper class, and no rich people in the lower class. Wang Lan believed that a commoner genius could rise up and climb to a high position. But it was almost impossible for a commoner genius to climb to the top in a short period of time by relying on hard work. You are a genius, but others aren't? You work hard, but those Takashi Hoshi families don't work hard? The gap between the talents of the top geniuses was limited, and so was the gap between their efforts. The real gap was the resources and wealth. Unless you were so talented that you could ignore the resources and wealth. Was his mother really a genius to this extent? You don't believe it, do you? Wang Qi asked with a smile. No, I'm just a little surprised. If my mother is the Yen Emperor of the South, then her disappearance should be a big deal for the Jade State, right? Why didn't we hear about it back then? How could the state report this kind of thing? I can even say that in the eyes of foreign countries, the Yen Emperor was just carrying out a mission, or a high-level official in our country, or even working in the Ministry of National Defense. In the whole world, there should be no more than 100 people who know about your mother's disappearance. That's true. But my mother is so powerful, but she didn't leave anything for me. There is no Takashi Hoshi at home, not even a soul orb. Doesn't she know how to save money? Didn't she save 3 office buildings in the CBD for you? There is also a commercial square in Shanghai and 2 in the capital. Money is just a worldly possession. What's the use of having more? I'm talking about the Takashi Hoshi technique, the secret technique. If sister really saved up, would you still be alive now? You would have been cut into 18 pieces long ago. That's right. Wang Lan instantly figured it out, but he still felt that it was a pity. He had such a powerful mother, but she didn't leave any money for him. Sigh. But big sister still left something for you. As she said that, she turned around and pointed to a box on the coffee table on the balcony. Your mother gave it to me before she left. She said that she didn't know when she would come back. If she didn't come back in a few years, and you awakened the Takashi Hoshi talent, she would give it to you. Chapter 15. What's inside? I don't know. Your fingerprint unlocked it. I'll pass it to you now. You can go back to your room and open it. Wang Lan picked up the box. It was quite heavy. The box was made of metal, but he didn't know what kind of metal it was. He picked up the box and was about to go back to his room when his aunt suddenly turned around and called out to Wang Lan. I've always had a question. You don't seem to care about who your father is. My father? Have I seen him before? I don't think so, then that's it. Wang Lan smiled and went back to his room. Of course, Wang Lan knew who his father was. He also knew who his biological mother was. He also knew that Wang Ling was never married or in a relationship. No one would have thought that Wang Lan was born with an adult soul. It was just that his brain wasn't fully developed when he was young, and most of the time, he was muddle-headed. The first time he saw Wang Ling should have been around a week after he was born. He vaguely heard shouts and screams. Then, Wang Ling appeared and carried him out of the blood and fire. From then on, he was called Wang Lan. He was Wang Ling's biological son. In his childhood memories, Wang Ling was always very busy. However, she would take out a day every week to accompany him and teach him to call her mother. Those memories were very common. In fact, every child would have experienced them. However, to Wang Lan, they were very precious. Recalling Wang Ling's appearance, Wang Lan nervously pressed his finger on the surface of the metal box. DDD, the indicator light suddenly lit up. After a few seconds it said, "Password verified." The delicate metal box slowly opened. No wonder it was so heavy. The thickness of the metal box was at least 5 millimeters. In the metal box there was a video player and a crystal-clear soul bead. Soul bead? Mom, aren't you too stingy? Do you think your son has never seen a soul bead? The only thing you left behind for your son was a soul bead? Wang Lan smiled bitterly as he picked up the soul bead and placed it in front of his eyes. Maybe this soul orb contains a lot of astral energy? Wang Lan knew that the Takashi Hoshi of the rich families increased their cultivation by absorbing soul orbs. A low-level soul orb would cost at least 50,000 yuan. The legendary ability to change one's fate with money was nothing more than this. Even the average wealthy family could not afford it. Children from ordinary families who had awakened the Takashi Hoshi would not be able to receive soul orbs for nurturing, so they could only rely on food. Up until now, the scientific community had not given an answer to the existence of star power. The subjective judgment was that it was a combination of the energy of the body's cells and the spiritual power of the soul. Therefore, only a large amount of food could be used to extract sufficient energy. However, there were still many contradictions in this conclusion, but the general direction was probably correct. At the very least, the Takashi Hoshi had such a terrifying appetite, but so far, no Takashi Hoshi was fat. Moreover, many Takashi Hoshi cultivators did not hesitate to harm their own bodies in order to extract more star power. They overused their cells and became emaciated. Discovered that Takashi Hoshi's skill can be forcibly loaded. Would you like to forcibly load it? Takashi Hoshi? Can I forcibly load it? This notification made Wang Lan a little confused. He had never heard of Takashi Hoshi's skill being contained in a soul orb. The Takashi Hoshi's skill was developed by generations of powerful Takashi Hoshi cultivators after many years of research. The soul orb only contained star power. The two were not the same thing. He had heard of Takashi Hoshi's skill being passed on to others through spiritual power, but he had never heard of Takashi Hoshi's skill being engraved in a soul orb. Load it, Wang Lan said in his heart. Since it was a Takashi Hoshi's skill and it was left behind by his mother, of course, he had to learn it. Please add skill points. On the system's layout, a plus sign appeared in the skill column. 0 out of 100. Wang Lan glanced at his remaining skill points and then looked at the skill points required to load the skill. What a good connection! Although he was complaining, his speed of adding skill points was not slow at all. 100 skill points. That was what he had earned by narrowly escaping death and almost becoming immortal. Before he could even warm it up, it was all used up in the blink of an eye. When the 100 skill points were filled, the pitch-black icon instantly lit up. As the icon lit up, it was as if the color of the entire system's layout had brightened up. Enlightenment instantly exploded in his spiritual sea. After all, the skills learned by the system were different from the skills learned in the game. The system was only a way to display the skills. It did not mean that you had to click on the skill to activate it. It was because you had really learned it that it was reflected on the system's layout. At least, Wang Lan could use the Takashi Hoshi skill instantly if he wanted to. However, this forcibly loaded Takashi Hoshi skill was so special. Because even if the skill icon lit up, Wang Lan's understanding of the skill was only superficial. Wang Lan hurriedly looked at the skill icon and almost flipped out on the spot. The *skill icon was actually grayed out. In other words, even if the skill was loaded, Wang Lan still could not learn it and could not use it. F***ck. Did I spend 100 skill points just to look good? He focused his spiritual power on the grayed out icon. Phoenix form, platinum skill, did not meet the learning requirements, skill is frozen. Why don't you go die? Wang Lan's scalp exploded when he saw this. Did not meet the learning requirements, skill frozen? Then what's the point of forcibly loading me? Spit it out. Spit out the 100 skill points for me. Suddenly, Wang Lan saw a plus sign at the bottom right corner of the grayed out skill icon. What does this mean? You want me to add skill points to it? I only have 9 skill points left. And that was from killing 9 demon warriors and the soul orbs that the Heavenly Sword Bureau dug out for Wang Lan. Wang Lan had no choice but to tentatively click on the plus sign. Add 1 skill point. Phoenix form can be used for 0.1 seconds. How long was 0.1 seconds? Wasn't it 0.3 seconds in the blink of an eye? If that was the case, Adding 10 skill points would only allow it to be used for 1 second? What was the use of 1 second? Fortunately, after adding 1 point, the skill icon was no longer grayed out. After unfreezing, the skill description could be seen. Phoenix Form, Platinum Skill, Upgradable. Once activated, the first form of the Phoenix Form will be unlocked. Able to erupt with Galaxy Rank combat power. Seeing this description, Wang Lan was shocked. Galaxy Rank was very far away for Wang Lan. He did not even dare to think about it before he was 20 years old. Galaxy Rank was the top combat power among Takashi Hoshi. They were the main characters in any scene. According to the statistics of the Takashi Hoshi in the year 5018, Heavenly Body Tier Takashi Hoshi accounted for 30%, Star Blazing accounted for 36%, Nebula Takashi Hoshi accounted for 18%, and Galaxy Rank Takashi Hoshi accounted for 12%. The rest were Star C rank and above. These statistics were enough to show that Galaxy Rank Takashi Hoshi stood at the top of the pyramid. Wang Lan, on the other hand, was a newbie who had just awakened Takashi Hoshi's talent. A weakling in the Heavenly Body tier could erupt with Galaxy Rank combat power just by relying on Takashi Hoshi's skill? Was he using cheats? There was no doubt that the skill was powerful, but the cost of using it also made Wang Lan despair. 10 skill points per second. Do the math. Isn't this burning money? This was burning life force. He had only earned 100 skill points after risking his life, but it was only enough to activate for 10 seconds. What could he do in 10 seconds? It was only enough for one move, right? Sigh. Damn it. Where the hell am I going to earn skill points? Sighing, Wang Lan picked up the video player. When he pressed the power button, Wang Lan's fingernails turned a little white. There was only one video file in the video player. Wang Lan's trembling fingers clicked on it. The video played, and his mother, Wang Ling, appeared on the screen. Lan, congratulations on becoming a Takashi Hoshi. Mother always believed that you could do it. Mother is going to carry out a very important mission. If you can see this video, it means that Mother is either dead or missing. Do you see the soul orb together? Mother used a secret technique to cut off a part of your soul and compressed the Phoenix form of the Takashi Hoshi skill inside. This is Mother's most powerful Takashi Hoshi skill. It has the potential to evolve infinitely. It is a skill that can transcend the sea of stars, break through the immortal realm, and reach the infinite realm of Takashi Hoshi. However, Mother set a limit on the soul orb. You can only learn it when you reach the Galaxy Rank. There's no other way. The requirement to learn the Phoenix form is the Galaxy Rank. Haha, Mother, you're still so confident. What happened to the limit? I've already learned it. Mother is going to carry out a mission. I won't say anything unnecessary. I've already told your aunt. Do your best. Mother looks forward to fighting alongside you in the future. The video ended there. When the screen dimmed, Wang Lan's face was covered in tears. Mother, it's been 8 years. Lying on the bed, he quietly looked at the ceiling above his head. In his mind, he kept wondering whether his mother was still alive or dead. What kind of mission could make the top powerhouse of the Jade State lose the confidence to come back alive? The more he thought about it, the more upset he became. Wang Lan calmly checked the system in his mind. The character attribute panel had changed. He had leveled up from 1 star to 4 stars, and each attribute had increased by 2 points. These 2 points represented a substantial increase in strength. Suddenly, an attribute classification appeared on the character attribute panel. Wang Lan's attribute was fire, which meant that Wang Lan was suitable to learn the fire attribute Takashi Hoshi skill. Other Takashi Hoshi skills could only be learned without attributes or the transformation type. Only one attribute. His talent was a little unsatisfactory. But why didn't this display item appear before? Did the system secretly update and level up behind my back? Today's experience was full of ups and downs. Even if Wang Lan had an extraordinary body, he was actually exhausted. He closed his eyes and soon fell into a deep sleep. After returning from his aunt's house, he changed his clothes and picked out the most handsome short-sleeved windbreaker from the many clothes he had. Wang Lan had never had any requirements for clothes. He usually wore t-shirts in summer, sportswear in autumn, and winter jacket in winter, and they were all ordinary goods bought online. He had an annual income of 70 to 80 million yuan, but he never spent money recklessly. If it weren't for the fact that he had lived 2 lives, perhaps not many people could do it. His aunt bought Wang Lan clothes when she had nothing to do, but she basically never opened them. It was not that Wang Lan deliberately kept a low profile, but there was no need to be high profile. This windbreaker was the only piece of clothing that Wang Lan had that was relatively cool. The style was similar to the 4th-generation Fire Shadow robe. He bought it on impulse for 2,000 yuan, but he didn't wear it after buying it. After all, he was a man who was about to become a Takashi Hoshi. His mood was soaring. He went out and took the subway. Half an hour later, he arrived at the entrance of the Takashi Hoshi Hall. The Takashi Hoshi Hall was an organization that specialized in handling Takashi Hoshi matters. For example, a Takashi Hoshi strength evaluation, level evaluation, Takashi Hoshi certificate processing, and the purchase of soul orbs and Takashi Hoshi skills would all come to the Takashi Hoshi Hall. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.